everybody. It's the Stagler, episode 31. We're still here.
Still.
What?
I was being like Cleaver.
Oh, okay. I guess you know. Well, I was. Okay, sure. I mean, of course. How could I not see that you were being Cleaver? It was very obvious. I mean, before we started the show, we were trying to think of like, oh, what do we do for an intro? You know, we want to try doing some kind of interesting intros, and you started like singing a little song.
Yep.
You know, and I told you that was a bad idea because it's really annoying to listen to. And you said, "Isn't that the point?" And that would just be like, no, none of this is supposed to. Have you thought the last 30 episodes were supposed to be annoying?
No.
Because like that is not the intention. I mean, I'm sure it might come across that way every once in a while, but that is not by design. That is an accident.
I think the people would have enjoyed.
Okay, well, maybe next time. Maybe episode 32 of the Stagler, we can try out your little rap song. Anyway.
What?
Today's Spotlight, I'm Justin, by the way.
I'm Nick.
Today's Spotlight, we're going to be talking about the Friezerverse. And if you don't know what the Friezerverse is, you're a little behind on the times.
Seriously, though.
It's only the number one cinematic universe known to man.
Facts.
It's way better than Marvel, way better than DC. It's a connected universe of every property that's ever existed.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
So it's like they say Endgame's the crossover event of the century. Like, no, epic movie, you guys.
Come on.
Obviously. Anyway, that's a little bit later. But we saw something on Twitter as we were looking for content, you know, in quotes, and we found a nice
really
tweet
amazing
from the Alexa
tweeted.
Twitter account. What do we have?
Things I know. Rabbits have amazing ears that can rotate almost a full circle to 270 degrees. Very interesting.
Cool.
Things I don't know. How would a rabbit wear a birthday party hat?
And
Gives us two options.
Yeah, A and B.
Option A, the hat, one singular hat goes over both of the ears. So that both the ears are inside of the hat.
Yeah.
Option number 2, B, is one hat for each ear.
Yes. And
Thoughts?
that's the two options. Well, one, it's a really stupid question because did birthday party hats go over your ears when you wear them?
No.
So why would it go over a rabbit's ears? That's obviously a rabbit wearing a hat that's designed for a person. It should have a birthday party hat designed for a
So there
rabbit.
should be a C, is what you're saying.
There should be a C, and it's a much tinier hat because like that hat's as big as his whole head. That's not how birthday party hats are small. So it needs to be a much smaller hat, and it goes in between the ears like it does on a... It's a stupid question. They're trying to do the dog pants thing, and it's not working. You know?
Okay. Well, let's just say that we have to choose A or B.
I mean...
I go with B.
I go with
the
B
2
because
is cute.
it's a funnier, like, kind of just...
Let's see what the people think.
What do the people think?
53,000 votes. Oh, it's close.
Wow.
It's really close. 50.9% voted for B, so we're the winners.
Yeah.
And 49.1% went for A. Very
and there's been how many votes?
53,276.
Wow, that's quite... People are pretty passionate. What are the comments saying? Is there any, like, people disagreeing, or...
Neither. The hat goes between their ears.
Well, thank you. That's the obvious answer. But if you cop out, you know, if we have to play the game, B's just a funnier
See, this
image.
person says the same thing too. Option C.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, how do you wear pants? It's like, oh, put it in between their arms. Like, no, that's not what pants are.
Where did it go?
Ugh, really?
It literally disappeared.
Oh, well, they probably got deleted off.
Oh,
of
here it
Twitter
is.
for-
Here it
okay,
is.
there you
Here it
go.
is.
Yeah. So what do people think?
Things I know. Would be nice if we could turn off that irritating "have a nice day" or similar when asking the date or time, says No Name Joe.
Oh, well, I guess, sure. What do you think about that? Is that agreeable or disagreeable to you, or what?
I mean, I guess you should be able to turn
Have
it
the
off,
option,
but, like, why is it irritating? I don't know. What's so irritating about "have a nice day," says Parappa. Example. If I'm having a bad day, the last thing I want to hear is "have a nice day" from a machine. Many other reasons. They're trying to be nice. Lol.
So but do you understand that point of view or no? Because I'm saying, like, imagine your whole family dies in a car accident, and you go into Alexa and you're like, Alexa, what's my schedule for today? And they're like, you have to attend all of your family's funeral. Have a nice day. Like, I understand that.
I get it.
You know, that I turn it off.
Okay.
And it's a machine, right?
And then Among Us Imposter says,
The imposter says.
nah, I respect it. Telling Alexa to shut up, that is.
And somebody replies.
She's annoying at times, but saying have a great day, that's basic kindness. No
Not
Name
from-
Joe fires
Not
back.
from a machine. It is fake. Machines cannot show true kindness.
They get programmed for basic courtesy, though. Somebody programmed it to say that.
I think it's fair not to want your automated voice box to feign emotion.
Well, suck it up, Buttercup, because it can't stop, Lamau.
That's the point of her tweet, I think, smiley face.
TBH, I really like when Alexa tells me to have a great day. I always say it back without meaning to. Ah ha ha ha.
Fine. But let's have an option to turn it off for people that hate it. Have a nice day.
You shouldn't hate it, lol, unless you hate people being nice. She doesn't say it that often, IMO. But whatever you like, have a good day.
Alexa is not a person. And actually, if people say it without sincerity, I dislike it. Alexa cannot be sincere.
Alexa was programmed by a human, which has emotion and can be sincere, to say, have a great day, because they thought it was the pleasant thing to do. You clearly aren't having a great day, and that's why she's telling you that, lol.
That makes no sense. Finn.
Yup, makes no sense. Whatever, lol.
This up next, person who doesn't understand what personal preference is discovers other people have different unique perspectives, doesn't like it.
This up next, person who keeps talking even though the conversation has ended.
Ended 7 tweets ago, bestie.
Green Machine came in hard. 3, but y'all keep it going? Lamau?
I'm saying when there was a solution, somebody ended with have a nice day.
I said have a nice day back. Their choice to keep it going, just like it's your choice to keep on talking.
Now, what do we say to this person? What are we tweeting at them?
Stagler replies.
The Stagler replies. What is our reply to this tweet? I agree. Because what does that mean?
Have a nice day.
Okay.
No, what do you want to say?
I would say just I agree because I don't think it really makes sense as a response to this tweet and it adds nothing. No, not in all caps. Just a normal I agree. No, but with a capital I, what are
Okay.
we? We have to represent the brand.
Should we
Plug our No, it's just
Channel?
I agree. We want to add as little to the discourse as possible because that's obviously what everybody
GIF? Should we put a GIF?
Nope. We want little content here because this whole
we added to the thread.
we added to the thread. Hopefully it'll keep on going. But maybe we can get onto the show now, I think.
Okay.
What are we doing?
Fine.
We have news or something on this show? We talk about movies, I think.
Yeah.
We don't
maybe?
just live tweeting. That's a little weird. We have weeks, of course. We have our weeks. What have we been up to? Huh?
I've been up to not much.
Me neither. Yeah, I ain't got much. But we did some stuff, both of us, though.
Yeah, a few things. You just want to start off with those two?
Sure, let's do it.
All right. Well, if you've been following the show for the past however long,
Months, yeah.
you know that every 2 episodes we talk about one full season of The Sopranos.
Yes, that is true. That is what we do here. And last season was season 5
Season 5.
that we're going to be talking about. So what's up with season 5? How do you feel? Do you still like the show? You hate it now?
I thought season 5 was an incredible step up.
Yeah, season 5 made me realize that season 4 didn't feel as good, I think. Because I got back to the show and I was like, whoa, this is a lot better than season 4, I thought. Maybe I just didn't like the Carmela stuff that was going on in season 4 too much.
Mm-hmm.
The more I think about it, the more Carmela seems to be actually one of my less favorite characters. Even though I really like the performance, she's just not doing it for me recently. When she's on screen, I'm like, she's just always cutting vegetables and sighing.
It's life.
That's
of
how she do.
The mob boss wife.
I guess so. But she's, I guess, not too upset about it anymore.
No, she wants to get back.
She wants to get back.
Well,
and they
at the end of the season, she wants.
at the end of the season, he's back in. He's
they get
living
back
there.
together.
He's eating ice cream on the couch, just like the old days.
She wants to buy a property.
Mm-hmm.
$600,000.
She wants to have, I think, a little more of her own autonomy going forward. She says there's ground rules, but who knows if she'll keep them to those. What do you think? Tony's gonna go shtup another broad?
Probably.
Probably. I'm surprised if he hasn't already. But yeah, they're doing their own things. But we got bigger fish to fry this season, I think, because we have a one Mr. Boosh
The Booster.
the Bushmeister,
Yeah.
coming into the show. Steve Buscemi as his cousin, Anthony Blundetto.
Yep.
Anthony Blundetto. And he's been in the can for like 20 years or some crazy shit.
17, I think.
17 years. And he's just been doing his time, and he's out now, and he wants to stay out of the game.
He wants to
He's
be a
like,
masseuse.
I want to rub guys and make them feel good, he says.
Yeah.
You know? And so he tries his hand at that. Maybe he gets mad at the Korean he's working with. Beats him up, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. And you know what? He's like, it's in my blood. I can't help myself. I got to do crime.
Gotta be back in the game.
I got to do crime. But he's not even wanting to play by the rules no more, this Anthony Blundetto. He kind of takes charge of his own. He's not really respecting Tony as the boss. He still sees him as like the guy he was 17 years ago, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He's having trouble. You know, he's always busting his balls in front of all the guys. Tony doesn't appreciate that.
Why you gotta break my balls?
Why you got to break my balls, Gabagool? Right?
Yeah.
And
Gabagool.
I love Gabagool. It's very tasty, but it makes me have panic attacks.
Me too.
So, yes, he does something very, very bad. He kills some people that he really had very little reason to, other than trying to get back into the game. And he paints a big target on his back, and he has to flee. He has to run away. And he's like, I'm sorry, Tony. Please take care of my kids, my very creepy twins.
Yeah.
I don't like them at all. They're just the gender swap Shining twins, Justin and I just knew it was Justin because that's my name.
Wow.
Wow.
And are you special?
Hey, you don't see Justin a lot, and I think I've mentioned it before. You don't see Justin a lot.
There's not a lot of Nicks either. Don't know if you knew that.
There's surprisingly not, because you'd think there would be.
It's a fairly popular name.
Yeah, but they don't show up too often.
No.
But if your name is like John, oh boy, you just
Oh yeah, you're in there.
you're in there.
You are in there.
For sure. And yeah, so this has caused a huge divide between him and Johnny Sack and just all the other families, you know. They all want him dead. They're
Johnny
like,
Sack is not a happy man.
bring him here. We'll torture him slow and we'll make him pay for it. And Tony's like, yeah, that's my cousin. I don't know.
Yeah, you can kill him.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like make it quick. And they're like, no, I'm letting Jeff do this.
You can let us do this for the revenge portion of it.
And then Tony's like, eh.
Tony eventually is like, okay, well, I can't let that happen, so I'm left with really only one choice.
Shoot him in the face with a shotgun
While he has groceries and he's bringing them home.
on the porch.
Yeah, on the porch outside his hideout. That's what he do.
So he does that.
He does that, and he feels kind of bad about it, I guess.
But, you know, that's all part of the business. You
But
know?
the thing is, they're not really that happy about it either. They're not terribly upset, but they're not super happy that the guy they wanted just got off easy, maybe.
Yeah.
But whatever, it's buried and done with, I guess, now. So Anthony showed up and did some shit, and he left.
He said, I'll do it myself like Thanos.
He said, peace out, I'm good. And his face went everywhere.
It did. It was really gross.
It was very, very gross. And it must have been, I don't know, tough. I mean, because I'm just thinking, like, if it was us, it'd be me shooting you in the face with a shotgun, you know?
Yeah, would you be able to do that if I
Yes.
did something really terrible?
Oh, if you did something terrible, also yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Anyway, so that's that storyline. Then we have something way more important to me storyline going on.
Yes.
The most important one. Your favorite character in the show. I mean, take it away. It's your favorite character that you love, and yeah.
So Chris goes on a crazy ride this season.
Yeah.
My dude Chris. So Adriana, obviously last season and this season has been talking to the feds.
Yeah, they've been kind of coercing her, twisting her arm, like, you don't want to go away, do you? Just give us some information.
Yeah.
It's for your benefit.
And so they're just like, whatever, it's been like kind of normal.
Mhm.
But then Tony and Adriana kind of have like a connection moment.
Yeah, because Tony has panic attacks. She shits a lot. So they
Yeah.
they got a real...
She's got ulcerative colitis.
She's that, yeah, it's that irritable bowel shit, you know? And it's nonstop. Like, every other scene, she's screaming, like, I'm pooping my pants and running out of the room. It added a lot of depth to her character. I think she had her fake nails and she would wave them around.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh!
My stomach!
Oh, there's shit leaking between my cheeks. Oh my god! What am I gonna do?
Christopher!
Chrissy's gonna divorce me because I shat all over his Coke. The soda now, though, because he is reformed, not cocaine.
Right. Reminds me, there's a part where she like walks in and Chris is like, "Hey, it's my smelly Valentine," and she's like, "That's not funny, Christopher."
Oh, it's just a joke. Lighten up. You killed Cosette, Chris. That's when he stepped over the line. But anyway, they get really close, and so Tony, you know, is feeling a little bit like, oh, Adriana's really hot, but he is able to stop himself.
Yes.
Help talking to it about it with Melfi and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He stops himself, and they just have a normal, healthy relationship. And then one day they're hanging out. Well, they're doing drugs, so however healthy that can
They're
be.
hanging out.
And they're gonna go to her dealer, so Tony drives them to go to her dealer to like score some whatever. But there's something in the road. Tony swerves. They crash. A raccoon, yeah.
Yes.
They crash, and they go to the hospital, and everyone hears about, oh, Tony and Adriana were out at 3 a.m. You know what that means?
Yeah. And Adriana gets hurt like pretty bad.
Yeah, she's getting that brace. Tony, not a scratch on him.
Yeah, he's all right.
Totally fine.
And Chris was gone during this period.
He was on a
like
job.
a pickup,
Yeah.
on a job thing. And he comes back and he's like, "Oh my gosh, Adriana's in the hospital." But he was with Tony?
Yeah, and he's like, that's crazy. Tony's fucking my gal.
Yeah.
Behind my back. But he wasn't. But doesn't really matter because everyone just
already
assumes
said
anyway.
that.
And so it gets so bad that Chris is like, you know what?
Fuck this. And he beats the fuck out of Adriana after
Yeah.
she's already like in a neck
In
brace
that- yes,
and
exactly.
like hurt really bad from the car accident. Beats the shit out of her.
Starts drinking again.
Throws her
Yeah.
out of the apartment and
As a
says, "I
bender.
never want to fucking see you again."
Yeah. Starts drinking again, and he goes out on the town. He wants to talk to Tony.
He literally has a gun and he's going to shoot him.
He's going to shoot Tony in the face.
But
so
he shoots all of the rounds into a car.
into a car, yeah.
And then he rolls up and is like, "Fucking Tony!"
Where you at?
And they're all just like, "Whoa, Chrissy." And they
Yeah.
take him out to a field, and Tony is about to shoot him in the face.
But who stops him?
The Boosh.
The Boosh, Anthony Blundetto, the guy that Tony ends up shooting in the face. He says, stop, let's try it my way. And he does, and he saves Chrissy's life that way.
Mm-hmm.
And they take him to the doctor who treated him, and he was basically like, look, if Adriana was blowing him when the car crashed, that means she wouldn't have had a seatbelt on, right? And he's like, sure. Did she have seatbelt bruises from the crash? And the doctor was like, well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
they were
Chris
like,
kind of
he's
took
like,
it.
whatever.
Yeah, he didn't seem really satisfied, but he's like, I guess I have to believe you, because otherwise I'm going to die.
Right.
So he does that. And then, you know, they kind
And
of
it's
chill
okay
for a little
for a
bit.
second.
They chill for a second.
But then the FBI start getting really pushy with Adriana, and they're
'cause
like, "You need to do this."
They got to keep it going. They got to get, like, a warrant or whatever to get a wire in and put Tony
They're
away.
like, "You either need to wear a wire, or we're gonna send you to prison." And she's like, "I can't wear a wire."
Yeah.
But she thinks that she can get Christopher to flip.
And because he's always been complaining about Tony, especially since this Adriana thing.
Right. Because Tony seems to favor his cousin, Anthony
Even though he
Blundetto, over him.
doesn't really. I
He
don't
doesn't.
think.
Well, but they do kind of, when the three of them are together,
They
two
shit on
Tonys
Chris,
definitely gang
yeah.
up on Chris.
They gang
pretty
up on
hard.
Chris, but they're older, you know. I think Chris should have just really taken his licks there.
Yeah.
I think
But-
most of his complaining was an overreaction this season.
Yes.
Yes.
But he's like, nah.
Yeah.
And then Adriana's like, "Listen, I've been talking to the feds." And Chris is like, he chokes her and he's like,
Chokes
"How
her.
could you do
You
this
think,
to
you
us?"
think he's gonna kill her? I thought she was like dead right there.
Yeah.
But she gasped back to life, and he's like, "Oh my God, what do we do? What do we do?" Freaks out.
Very good. Very good stuff.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Okay, fine."
Okay, fine. I'm gonna go grab some smokes.
Yeah. And she's like, "No, Christopher, don't leave, please." And he's like, "Nah, I'll be real quick." And he leaves and he sees a family.
Yeah. Here's the thing. This was actually the most surprising thing to me about this whole endeavor was that when he went out, he actually seemed to still be thinking about it. I thought he actually would have ended up being a lot more loyal at the end, but he really did have a very genuine, sincere moment of, I could leave right now, you know? But he sees a family, he sees a guy who's probably a little bit older than him, with some kids, and the guy just looks depressed. He just
Yeah.
he just has a bunch of tykes running around. He's trying to control them, and Chris just decides that it's not the life that he wants.
Cut back to Adriana. She gets a phone call. It's Tony.
Tony, oh,
Hey.
Adriana, it's Christopher. He tried to kill himself.
He tried to kill himself.
He took
He's
some
in the
shit
hospital.
or whatever. You need to
Oh
get
my
down
god,
here.
not Chrissy.
Yeah,
Can't believe it.
Listen, I've taken care of anything. I'm gonna send Sylph to pick you up. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So Sylph
And
comes
she's
up.
like,
He's
all
like,
right.
"Hi, sweetheart. Let's get in the car."
One thing that got me about this next scene was it cuts to she hangs up the phone and
I
it
love
cuts to
this.
her driving.
She has her suitcase.
She has the suitcase.
She
and
drove
she's driving.
alone. She's driving
Seems
away.
like she's leaving.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh.
And there's a really fun song playing in the background. It's
Yeah.
like a pop kind of rock thing.
And at first you're like, oh wow, she just left.
I was like about to clap. I was like, wow, I didn't think Adriana was that smart.
Yeah.
Like I was honestly, that's what I was saying. I was like, this is really impressive for her character.
And then it just hard cuts.
It's
to her
the song
in-
was playing on the radio, and it was her imagining making that decision because at this point she knows what's going on,
And it's her and Syl in the car, and she's kind of looking out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Syl's like, we're going to the hospital. Everything's going to be okay.
Right. She's like, okay.
And then he pulls off into the woods, and then she's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And then she tries to escape.
She's literally crawling on
crawling.
all fours, like trying to get
And
away.
Syl is like, you fucking cunt.
Yeah. And maybe he kills her.
I guess.
We don't see her get shot, so who knows what could have happened.
I think Syl got her.
Well, we don't know. She was crawling pretty fast. she was
Faster
like,
than that Russian guy.
Exactly. So maybe she got away. There's a lot of camouflage, a lot of leaves on the ground.
Yeah.
I'm holding out. I think that maybe she could make a return.
Okay.
Anyway,
Keep thinking that.
The FBI agents are like, one of them's still kind of in denial. She's like, oh, she probably fled. And everyone's like, bitch, she got shot in the head in the woods. She's like, I don't know. But yeah, most likely she got shot, but who knows? I got hope.
Okay. And then Chris has to like hide out for the next episode. He's hiding out because everyone keeps asking him about Adriana. Where's Adriana at? And he's like,
very sad about it.
he's like, well,
He even gets back.
We
He
broke
does
up.
some H because he couldn't handle all the grief.
yeah.
But it's unclear if that'll be a problem.
He
again
said,
yet.
I'm gonna prove myself to you, Tony.
Yeah.
And then they share the best hug of the series. I
Yeah.
think.
At this point, he's kind of in so deep that he's gotta, and he probably will because he doesn't have anything else left anymore. Tony's the only thing he has left. So I would be surprised if he didn't really prove himself, however horrible that may be
we'll
for him or others.
we'll see for my man Chrissy. He made me mad this season, but I still love him.
Sure. Yeah. I feel not exactly the same. I don't think I can say I still love Christopher, but whatever. Yeah, okay. That's that. What else happened this season? Melfi, it's not
She's
much-
not really in.
not
the
much going
season.
on, yeah.
She just has a few, like scenes with Tony.
It's
where
yeah.
Tony's like whatever.
basically her point in the show is just like reading Tony's thoughts. They could probably achieve in this season and the last kinda the same thing they do with her just by giving Tony an inner monologue that was just spoken aloud. Probably serve the same purpose, which is a little disappointing, I think. I really hope in season 6A and 6B that she gets to do something more.
Yeah, she's kind of been out of the picture for a while.
Yeah, especially because one of her stories is like still definitely my favorite probably in the whole series. It was her storyline. I really, I guess looking back, enjoy all of the lives crossing mafia and non-mafia people. Those kind of interactions have been my favorite in the series.
Yeah.
Except for one that happened this season with Meadows' boyfriend.
Finn.
Finn.
Yes,
Yeah.
so good.
I don't care for Finn.
He's just a loser.
He's not, but he is. Because like obviously he seems very smart. He seems like he'll be a very successful person in the future, but he just seems kind of like he doesn't have a lot of common sense, or he just seems a little bit like a weirdo. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I don't know what Meadow sees in him. Meadow would be much happier with me.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
for real though. So Meadow helps him get a job at the construction place.
By that, Tony helps him get a job.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he works at a construction place so they can still live together. And one day he goes to work a little early, and he sees Vito slobbing on the knob
Of a security guard.
and
He's
he's
just
like, "Whoa, I should have
going
seen
for
that."
it.
And then Vito's like, "Hey, let's go to the Yankees game."
Yeah, let's go watch some guys hit some balls and just swallow some dogs and just, hang out.
And he's like, okay. And he doesn't go.
He stands him up.
And Vito seems very upset.
Seems very upset. Obviously, he doesn't want him to get out because that would be very bad. They might
Not
just
good.
kill him. I don't know what they would do.
I don't know what we haven't had that problem.
No, it's a new problem. But, I mean, if eating pussy was a problem, I think sucking a dick is probably a lot more of a problem. And so, yeah, he's just very distraught. He packs up to, leave, just to, go home.
Yeah.
And Meadow is very affected by this.
Very upset. But you got out the suitcase.
That's the point. You packed. And she's like slobbering and snot going everywhere. And it's like 4 a.m. and
You didn't even ask if you wanted me to come with you.
they've been going at it for like hours upon hours. And literally this whole scene, I was like, Meadow, what the fuck? What is wrong with you?
She really likes this
She
guy.
really, really likes him. And I mean, if I was him, that would honestly probably make me leave, actually. I'd be like, Jesus, what is wrong with you? I really think she overreacted. Maybe that's me. Maybe that's a guy's perspective.
Yeah,
I don't know. But then, of course, also, we're more aware of the context of like, oh yeah, he could die. Like, this is a real threat that could happen. Maybe she doesn't quite see that. Because, of course, the thing that makes him so scared in the first place, he doesn't necessarily know they're mob right away. But he sees a guy get, like, his face broken by, like, a beer bottle, and there's blood everywhere, and he's a little Nancy boy about it. And he's like, oh, I've never seen a guy get almost killed before. Wah. And
Yeah.
he's just a little bitch.
Loser.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah. So I say bitch, you say loser, but it's this. We'll meet in the middle.
And then he's like, let's just get married. And Meadow's like, okay.
Okay, I'm so happy now. Let's talk about it for 4 hours.
And then she calls up Carmela. She's like, Mom, I'm engaged.
Wow. To whom? It's basically what
Finn
she
asked
says.
me to marry
She's
him.
like, what? You are? Okay, I guess that's fine. And that's kind of where it ends, right? There's not much else going on.
Yeah, that's like one of the last episodes.
Yeah, so they're going to get married, I guess. Good luck
Yeah.
to the newlyweds.
And then there's like one other main thing that happens in the season, and that's Carmela finally bangs another dude.
Yes, she does. The teacher.
Yeah. For
Anthony Jr.'s teacher.
Because he needs to get his grades up.
Yeah. It got to a point, it was so weird. I was wondering what was kind of going on in the show because she would only talk about Anthony Jr. and he would, like, most of the time only talk about sex. So she'd be like, oh, Anthony Jr.'s grades aren't that great. He'd be like, I really like to smell your bush. And it's just like back and forth and back and forth. Like they'd be in bed, like literally just got finished. Like he just came. He's still on top. And she's like, Anthony Jr. could use a good school. I was just like, Jesus, Carmela. It's so weird. It is bizarre from her. I guess that's another reason I don't like her. She's just, I don't know, scatterbrained.
And then she's like, I want Tony back.
I want Tony back. Did you want them to get back together? I did because I
like whatever.
I like her character more when they're together.
Yeah,
I don't like
do like their
single
interactions.
Carmela.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's at her best when it's just him and her, probably. It's just, I don't know. But their girl movie nights just got one person smaller this season.
For real,
so.
though.
Oh, and Janice is still married to
Bobby Bacala.
Bobby. Not a ton going on there. She's being like an overbearing stepmom a bit this season.
She's got anger problems.
She's got anger problems. She goes to a like a AA meeting and becomes very racist in a second, but she's like, "Oh, forget about it."
Forget about it.
So
Oh, that reminds me of the funniest joke
okay.
in the whole show so far.
Okay, good.
I can't remember exactly what they're talking about, but I think that Steve Buscemi's character is talking about how he's working with like the Korean guy
Yeah.
to do the massage thing or whatever.
Mhm.
And I can't remember how it got to this point, but they were all being really racist or whatever.
Okay, hilarious.
And then no, because it's so funny because, and Steve Buscemi's character was like, "Oh no, it's not that bad" or whatever. And then Paulie he just like looks at him, he's like, "Remember Pearl Harbor?"
Oh yeah.
It's just so funny.
It's Korean
Because they're so stupid.
they're so dumb. So that's all I'm saying. Just remember Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor.
I do remember that. Yeah,
I just thought that was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the very last thing that happens in the season is Tony and Johnny Sack, the new boss of New York family. They're having a little meeting, and the FBI do a raid on his house, and Tony has to escape. And he does. But Johnny Sack
somehow
gets arrested.
Yeah. It's a pretty big deal. Pretty big deal.
So who knows what's going to happen in the final season.
The final season, which just
That
to
is
clarify,
2 parts.
yeah, it's 6A and 6B. It's like 22 episodes, I think. So we're going to be splitting it up just like they did. So it won't be the episode after the next episode that we finish, but the episode after the next episode's episode. You get it. You understand. It's going to be like a month from now, basically.
Yeah.
Or, yeah. And, Sopranos,
It should be
season
cool.
5.
Sopranos, season 5, I think the best season so far.
Your hopes, your dreams for the final season, just combine it into one. Anything? Obviously, Melfi getting a bigger part, getting a good storyline to wrap her up.
Melfi needs some more action. I hope Chris is okay.
Okay. I'd be happy. I've always said Artie is my favorite. I think he's good.
Artie Pucco.
He can just stay on the sidelines. I think he had a nice
He's chilling
story.
now.
Yeah. Maybe he can get remarried. I don't know.
Maybe. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, but I think it would be interesting if somehow Tony's family ends up being threatened towards the end of the show. 'Cause that hasn't really happened, I don't know, by anybody. Johnny Sack in prison is making moves, and he's like, "I'll kill your fucking daughter."
Oh, okay.
I don't know. That
Sure.
just seems interesting.
That'd be cool.
Because his family hasn't really been threatened at all, and I want to see how he would react to that sort of situation.
Right. Probably poorly. I don't think he'd like that.
I don't know.
Especially, I guess, the person who's been on the way on the outside, considering that as Anthony Jr., he's had, like, nothing to do with anything even close to... Like, he barely even talks to people that are in the mob.
He wants to be an event planner, man.
It's kind of gay, isn't it?
It's kind of gay.
It's like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But, yeah. But it looks... Speaking of that, though, however, saying that, he does have a little part in this season where he does, like... put together like a party with a bunch of beer, and he charges
Makes money.
he makes money, and he has to solve a problem. He sicks one of his boys, and then he starts a fight.
And he's like, "Oh, I like this."
Yeah, so maybe it's a bit like passing the torch kind of stuff going on. It's like crime feelings in the family.
Could be.
Tony's always like, oh, he doesn't have it in him, but maybe he do. Maybe he do have it in him.
Interesting.
You could see. So seeing that being explored a little bit more in season 6 as well would be great.
And I wonder if one of the core 4 is gonna die. Tony, Chris, Paulie, and Sil. That's like the core of the family.
Right now, yeah. Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised.
It used to be the core 5 with Pussy,
Yeah.
but he got killed.
Oh, and we didn't mention, this season had an episode that was like majority dream sequence.
Oh, yes. I really enjoyed that.
I thought it was very, very cool. It was such a nice mix-up to just the formula that kind of comes after a show goes on for so long. Very, very fun. Before that, dream sequences were very short, but this was like...
It was 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was very, very long, and it was very, very rewarding, I thought.
Yeah, it was really
You saw
cool.
characters old and new, dead
it was
and
like
alive.
everybody.
It was like basically just a callback for everybody. If you've been on the show, come back and we'll get you in there,
Yeah.
I mean, we've always been a fan of that. I mean, I like stuff like Twin Peaks, and Mr. Robot has an episode like that as well. We've always been a fan of that kind of trippy stuff in a more grounded story, just to mix stuff up, So good. That was great. I think we can move on
Yeah, absolutely.
to the other thing that we both saw,
Oh, yes.
which was
Shh, A Quiet Place Part 2.
A Quiet Place Part 2.
So for this part of the episode, we will be speaking only in whispers.
For this part of the audio-only podcast, we will be signing our reviews in sign language. So listen to the sound of my flesh. Wow. That's what you really thought?
I'm just saying.
That's
man.
kind of what I thought too. It's safe now because the movie's over. This movie, have we talked about the first one at all?
I don't know if. Yeah, I don't think we've ever shared our thoughts with what we think about A Quiet Place.
I feel like we should go back to the first one for this because this is a direct sequel, like down to the second.
Yeah.
Yeah. First one, everybody loves Quiet Place, it seems. It's like, oh, Quiet Place, it's Jim Halpert. Look at him.
He made a movie.
He's got a whiteboard that says very on-the-nose things on it. You know, that's so cool and subtle, people say.
We are not big fans of A Quiet Place.
I don't like Quiet Place that very much. I think the acting's good. I think a lot of the character stuff is good, but just like the
We have a problem with the general idea of the film.
it sucks that the concept can't help but be flawed. There's no way to write exactly what they want without making it like a flawed thing, you know? And of course, we're calling, if you really don't know anything about it, it's a family, there's some kind of apocalypse, there's these alien monsters that can't see, but they have very sensitive hearing, and if you make any noise, they will
brutally murder you.
They'll come from seemingly like a mile away. If you cough, they'll be able to hear you and come grab you and kill you. They'll kill you immediately.
Yeah.
We'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, which is interesting because we don't really know what they're doing.
And so this family is just trying to survive. They've got like a deaf girl, and so they all know sign language, and that gave them like an edge, which is like, you know, a really cool detail. That's neat. And they're just trying to live. And then it works most of the time.
Until it doesn't.
2 out of 5 times it doesn't work. But other than that, pretty good.
Yeah. 2 out of 5 times it doesn't work.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Mom and dad, 3 kids. The kid and the dad die.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So there you go.
Then they had another kid anyway.
So 3 out of 5 times it works.
Also, the interesting thing, in the first movie, it starts off, it says, like, day 370 whatever.
Yeah, it's like a year into it.
A year. And the Emily Blunt character is pregnant. So that means that John Krasinski and Emily Blunt consciously were like, let's have a baby in this ridiculous apocalypse where if anything makes noise, it will murder us.
This was actually a deleted scene. There's a scene where Emily Blunt's character was on Twitter, and she DM'd John Krasinski's character, and she said, please send me a vid of you coming with the sound off. And so it was like totally fine.
Oh,
it worked,
okay.
you know. Anyway, the main thing is that there's just
But that thing to me is just like, it's just so easily fixed. Just make it day 270, and she could have been pregnant before the apocalypse started.
Right, exactly. They're like, oh, I'm not going to kill my baby. That's fine, you know? But to have it be like, oh, consciously getting pregnant in the...
Yes,
in the
like,
thing,
what? What are you doing? The babies cry all the time, and the whole point is to not make any noise.
I mean, I don't know. I've never been in a post-apocalyptic situation yet. I got close last year, but not yet.
Right, yeah.
But
everything seems to be... I mean, we don't know yet. But
I mean, everyone has needs, but, like, I don't know. It just seems like we don't know how hard they tried to stop it. Because I don't know if they would go out to get condoms from the grocery store when there's monsters everywhere. But you think you'd be aware of it being, like, an issue and try to avoid it. Maybe. Maybe I'm crazy. But
also, just silent sex is just funny.
yeah, they should have shown that scene. That would have been really funny to just see him going, oh, bam. Yeah. You know? So the biggest problem is just that it's like the noise, the amount that it takes to attract one just feels really inconsistent.
Yes.
And that's like the big thing. And if you can just brush away that fact and be like, oh, it doesn't matter. They just happen to make loud enough noises whenever they're close enough.
Sure.
Because obviously they're being quiet all the time because they don't know where one is. So it makes sense that they don't want to be quiet all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like then they set like there's like houses that like a barn that like gets set on fire and that doesn't really seem to attract many. There's like a waterfall that they go to like actually talk to each other where it's like, why don't you just live there if you
Right,
can
because
just,
there's
like,
so much noise that they can't like figure out.
which like makes sense but doesn't.
It makes sense.
But it's like, how do they differentiate just nature noises and then, oh, a thing caused this noise?
They don't. They're walking through the woods and a bird is like tweet tweet and they're like.
But there are birds. That's the thing. There are birds, and there are. Well, no, it kills a raccoon, like the Sopranos. It kills the raccoon that
When?
Tony, in the first movie, not in the second
Oh,
movie.
okay.
So the raccoon that Tony had to swerve out of the way ended up getting killed anyway by the Quiet Place monster.
Dang.
So that sucks for him.
Couldn't save it anyway.
Couldn't do it. But then we never see them attack inanimate objects, do we?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think they do. They get distracted by inanimate objects because they show the fireworks or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, what's that?"
Yeah.
But it's just strange
Mm.
because we get to the point where it's also like, what do they want? How do they
because
live?
it seems like they just kill people. They don't like eat them or any. They
Right.
just stab their gross arms through people and
Yeah.
then they just leave them on the ground.
And
They just kill
potentially, because everyone loves to explain away everything. Potentially, they're like, "Oh, kill all the threats and then go back and eat." Like, sure, but we haven't seen any corpses that have been eaten.
Yeah.
Nothing like
It
that.
doesn't seem like they're like mining the Earth's
Right.
rocks.
They're just walking
or
around.
anything. They're just killing people.
Yeah. So sure. I mean, not that I hate that, but
I would just like to know.
I would just like to know. And I guess maybe if they could answer all these things we're about to talk about in the third movie, they could. But that doesn't make the first and the second movie better, in my opinion. Even
Right.
if they were like, this is exactly how everything works and everything has made sense the whole time, it still makes the first and second movie not as great as they maybe should have been.
Right.
Anyway, John Krasinski dies. They find out that if they use the hearing aid at the right frequency, it'll make their skulls open up because they have armor that makes them like unkillable, basically.
Right. Yes.
And if you shoot them in the fleshy bits underneath, they'll die, and they go down pretty easy, actually.
Right. And it's a cool trick. But my thing with that is it's been like a whole year.
Yes.
And in my personal opinion, any person with a brain who has seen a movie,
Any movie. If you've seen
would think,
Playtime,
at least me, if aliens invaded right now and we found out, oh my gosh, they're super sensitive to sound.
that's how they know us.
I would be like-
because they very obviously don't have eyes.
Yeah, I would be like, okay, let's be as loud as possible.
Yeah.
Let's make the highest frequency noise ever.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily loud noise, but it's the certain frequency that gets them going.
Right. Why would you not just try that instantly?
Right.
I don't know. I guess.
And the thing with
I
that
don't
is, it's like, oh, things happen too quickly for that to even happen, which is like, I guess I buy that, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's also very unclear throughout these movies how many there are. Are there
Yes.
a million? Are there a billion?
Yeah, we don't know how many aliens there are.
Because they can, shoot one and like only, like, I think the max that is ever in one place is 2 or 3 that are ever in the same place.
Yeah, I think so. Because
You
the
know?
most is in like that boat scene, and there's like 3 of them.
Yeah, there's like 3 of them there, and that wasn't even that loud of a noise. So,
No.
anyway, we'll get to the boat scene in the second movie. First movie ends. Dad's dead. It's the mom and the kids, and they gotta go, including the baby. Right?
Nice scene though, where the father has to sacrifice himself.
Yeah,
that was a good scene.
it's a nice scene. There's plenty of nice stuff going on.
Mm.
I thought the first movie was completely average, front of the mill. I didn't really feel either way about it. I was like, it's a movie, right? Get to the second movie. We just saw it in the theater.
We did. We went to the movie theater and
It was
watched
nice.
it. Very cool.
It was like a week after premiere, so it wasn't that full. It was like,
There's probably 10 people
10,
there.
15 people max. And the movie starts off, bam, right where the last one ends. They're walking away from...
Well,
Oh,
after
okay.
the opening
after the
sequence,
opening sequence, which is like 15 minutes at least, right?
probably, of the first day of the invasion.
First day you're actually getting to see when all the shit went down.
Which was actually very good.
Yeah, it was really incredible because gave you what a lot of the movies don't give you, which is watching it all unfold right before your eyes, And John Krasinski's back, so people would be happy
Yep.
about that. And we see that in their town, like the inciting event was a meteor that was like crashing down.
Or something. I don't even know. Could
Yeah.
have been like their ship.
I guess it could have been a spaceship.
It was huge, though.
I don't know how you drive a spaceship with only hearing, but it could happen.
I don't know. Something just very bright and on fire flew through the sky.
I assumed it was just a meteor, and that was like what used to be their planet, and because they're so tough, they didn't die when the planet blew up. So whatever. And let's not get into that because, their skin is really tough. Like, concussive forces will like make your insides into jelly, no matter what. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, maybe
if you bang them
they're
around
all like that in the inside too, except for in the head.
it doesn't matter
can
if
get
they have
shooted.
any soft parts. It's gonna get turned to mush if you drop a nuke on them. You know.
Well, they can't just nuke the planet.
I know, but any large explosive will, the concussive force will just make all the fleshy bits inside the hard bits rattle around really quick, in which case they get destroyed against the hard bits.
I don't know. Let's test it. Next episode.
If you get a grenade, your insides get all messed up if you don't get shrapneled. The explosive, it makes your guts go all...
How close?
It,
Like if I was like 20 feet away.
I don't know. I don't know grenades.
I think I would be
but I'm just
okay.
saying that they have... every military on Earth has a lot of bombs.
Right.
And also planes. And boats. We have a navy. Many, if not like most countries have navies.
Mm.
We'll talk about that a little bit later too, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, you have this flashback scene. It's really fun. The monsters in this movie are all on screen, totally visible, not hiding at all, which is great because they've already been revealed.
Action.
So you get to see them in full. I really super appreciated that about this movie. Then we go back. Now it's right after the first movie ended.
Yep.
They're running away. They're like, we need to go. Let's run. And they run away, and they are going south or north or somewhere. And
Whatever. They go to the other fire.
yeah, they see another fire, and they're like, oh, people. Okay. And so they go out, and they're running, and then the poor kid, Marcus...
Oh, yeah, this part's rough.
This was like the first part where I was like, oh, this is what theaters are like. Right. Because he steps on a bear trap, and it's like the 12-year-old kid, so he's got like legs this big.
Yeah.
And it
it's on his
snaps on him,
and he's like,
and he's screaming his head off, and you could hear everyone in the theater go, oh.
because it's
rough. It's awesome.
He gets pretty good.
And I really appreciated how they made him scream, because you see a lot of people stifling their pain in movies where it's like, you wouldn't do that. But this
Emily
kid...
Blunt is like, shut up.
Yeah,
shut up.
even though literally, like, he knows that screaming will make him die, he can't help it because it's obviously so painful. Only problem I took with that was that she's like, it's okay. The bear trap didn't reach bone. I was like, literally, the kid's, like, you could use your one hand around his ankle and, like, touch your thumb to your finger. It's like a mouse trap would have hit the bone on this kid. That's designed to, like, break bare bones.
Plus, it sounded like
really
really
it
bad.
cracked the bone, and I thought he
his
lost his leg.
Yeah, I thought his foot was gone.
But they're like, no, it didn't hit the bone.
He's okay.
What? Stupid. I don't know. Maybe
Anyway, an
Anyway.
alien comes, and then the deaf girl is like,
she's got a
Use
hearing
my
aid and
power.
a speaker, and it goes, ah,
and then Emily Blunt's like,
and they shoot it. Yeah.
and they kill it, and then
And
the
it-
person
yeah.
watching them is like, oh my gosh, they killed one.
And the person watching it is an old friend of theirs from before times.
It's Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, he's there.
Oh my gosh. And he's like, you guys have to leave.
There's no food or water for you here. I
And
mean,
they're like, please help me. He's like, no.
I don't know sign language, so I don't know what I could do to help you.
And then the one kid hears a song on the radio, and he's like, oh, there's music.
Yeah, it's somewhere beyond the sea or whatever.
And then
that
they
one.
decipher that it's a secret code.
It's a secret code where they played a song instead of a message because...
Yeah, I don't understand why they didn't just like say something.
Say, we're on the island. Come to the island.
Yeah.
Said they're like, somewhere, da-dun-dun-dun. It's secret because they, the aliens, they might decipher the message and be like, oh, they're all hiding on the island. But no.
So the one girl, the deaf girl, is like, okay, I'm going to go find it. And he's like, and the kid with the bear trap is like, no, you can't go by
That's
yourself.
stupid to go by
That's
yourself.
dangerous." And she's like,
Mostly
well,
deaf
I'm
girl who
doing it.
can't even realize that she's making sounds.
And then she's like, well, I'm going anyway. So she leaves. And
With the gun and the speaker system. The two defense things,
yes.
both of them, she leaves.
But they're very safe where they are. And
they're very safe. They're underground. They're under like 8 feet of cement or something.
yeah.
They can even talk there, even though there's a huge hole in the ceiling. I don't get it. that would actually make the sounds echo out.
Is there a big
and
hole
be
in the
louder?
ceiling?
Yeah, because that's how they slide down.
Oh, I don't
Remember?
know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's
It's-
off to the side, but it's still
She
there.
gets in. She's like walking there. She's like, "It'll only take a day." She walks there. She gets to a part where there's a train, and she decides. This was weird to me. She decides to go in the train.
Well, that makes sense to me because maybe she knew that there was probably first aids in it, and she knew her brother was going to get sick.
I guess.
And also, it was surrounded by like really tall grass, so it would have been loud to get through the grass as well.
Okay. I
So it's
suppose.
not a super stupid decision.
Anyway, she gets in the train and she's like, "Look at all these dead people," and then she finds first aid and she's like, "I can't get this door open."
Oh no, I'm gonna punch it.
So she gets it open. She grabs it, but then, oh my gosh, dead body!
She's like, oh no, and she falls.
And the door slams and it makes noise, but she doesn't know because she's deaf.
She's deaf, so she's like, oh, I'm totally safe.
So she's chilling, and then, oh my gosh, there's an alien monster.
So she uses her speakerphone, and she's got her shotgun, and she's like, this is easy. I've never shot this ever before, but how hard could it be?
And she misses.
She
and then-
grazes it. She
Yeah,
kind of grazes it,
but it's
fine.
buckshot.
Right.
It's gonna hit something.
Yeah, so she really messes up.
And then she's trying to pump it back, but she can't. 'Cause she's not strong enough with her one hand because
Yeah,
she's
she's
got
got a
the other
speaker,
hand
the other
with the
one.
speaker. And then, oh my gosh, she's gonna die. Just kidding.
Here comes
Cillian Murphy with a
Emmett.
sniper rifle.
Emmett, or was that the dad?
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
it's Emmett.
Okay.
I think you're right.
There comes this guy. He's got the rifle, and he shoots it dead.
And then
From
he's
the
like-
back, somehow. I don't get
Well,
that.
their whole head kind of like opens up.
I guess so.
And then he's like, "Okay, we're going back." And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Okay."
Take a nap. I'm going to go find a boat. And comes back, and he's like, I found a boat. Let's go, just the two of us.
To the boat.
And then the mom, Emily Blunt, is like, oh, shit. I need to go because they're not back, even though it shouldn't have taken this long. I wish we had some sort of way to message, if they came back and left a message and said what they were doing instead of just leaving and making us think they were dead or anything.
But she's like, "I need to get oxygen for my baby who's in a box."
Yeah. So she goes out and she does that, and she handles it, really.
It's cool. Yeah.
She divorces Jim in her mind.
Yeah, she puts the ring down.
I think she was like thinking of Emmett, and she was like, he's kind of hot. He's got a dead wife. I've got a dead husband. Like,
You know what it
I hear wedding
means.
bells.
Ding ding ding.
Oh shit, they're coming because the wedding bells.
And then the best scene in the movie happens.
I've seen a lot of people defending this as, oh, he's just a kid. Whatever. If this is what you're talking about.
Oh, I was thinking about the boat scene.
Oh, okay. Well, which one do you want to do first?
Well, they happen simultaneously.
They
don't
do.
They?
They do happen simultaneously.
Okay, I'll handle the boat scene. You handle the kid scene.
Okay, boat.
Cillian Murphy shows Deaf Girl. He's like, "Look, there's boats down there. Let's go."
Yeah. Okay.
She's like, "Okay."
And then Noah Jupe, I think is his
Yeah.
actor's name. Noah Jupe's like, dang, my mom's not back, and it's getting late, and the baby, I'm scared. I'm afraid. So
And my foot's okay.
and
now.
my foot's okay, even though it got almost snapped in half by a bear trap. I can walk and climb ladders. And so he climbs out of the hole, and he's like, I'm gonna go to the upper floors and see if I can just see my mom outside. I just want to see if she's out there. Maybe she's just like taking a nap. I don't know. So he goes up there and he finds a dead body that may be Emmett's wife or something. I wasn't sure. I don't know if that's what they were insinuating. But he gets freaked out just like his sister. And he falls over and he makes a lot of noise. And he's like, oh no. So he hobbles back to the underground cavern. And the monsters one monster finds out and starts chasing him. And he takes the baby and he goes into the soundproof safe that's down there. But
Right.
the soundproof safe, you can only stay in it for so long because there's no oxygen in it.
Right.
And also, it'll lock itself if you don't put the towel in. So guess what?
He forgets to put the towel in.
And he locks himself and the baby in the vault.
Right. Which only has limited amount of air.
Boat scene.
They get to the boat. It's dark. It's like nighttime. They're like,
Yeah.
man, look at all these boats, man. We could totally get to the island. Look at all these boats. Oh my gosh, what was that? Oh, it's a little girl. Seems like she's really, really sad. Let's go help little girl out.
It's,
Cillian Murphy.
Hold on, I need to interject. it's like 450 days into the apocalypse, so she would have been like 3 when it started. So she's definitely on her own.
So she's like sitting there and he's like, "It's okay, I'll help you." And then she just like looks at him and she looks like a zombie.
She's got bloodshot red eyes. She's like, "Arr."
And then all these like weird people start coming out of the boats and they're all like, "Oh."
And she puts a noose on him.
Right, that has a bunch of like cans and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if he moves, it'll jingle jingle.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
hold that for a second.
okay,
So Emily Blunt's coming back, and she's like, "Oh my
Right.
gosh, a monster!" So she's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I need to save my kid. He's gonna get killed." So she's like, "Oh, I don't know what I'll do. I'll set off the sprinklers with this gun, and then I'll just stand still and not move from the spot where I shot the gun at first." But you
well,
know,
she shoots the oxygen tank to
Yeah.
make the fire to make the sprinklers.
Well, yeah. Sorry, I didn't go that in depth, but yeah, she uses the gun to stop.
People
She
need to
doesn't.
know.
She doesn't just shoot the sprinklers and the water comes out. That's true.
You never know with these.
I don't want
internet
people to think that.
That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, so she does that, and the monster's like, "Oh, this sprinkling water that is probably less loud than just like normal rain is so I don't know where anything is, even if it walks around right next to me, breathing and doing whatever." And so she's like, "Oh," and she's able to get up real, close and sneak by it.
Yeah, she sneaks.
She gets
sneak 100.
She gets real close to it,
Really close.
and she's got the oxygen, and she gets down there to the vault. She's like, "Oh, it's locked. What?"
Cillian Murphy is like, "I have these cans on me. I can't move. Otherwise, the monsters will come." And the people, the weird people, the boat people, they're
Yes.
like, "Ooh." They're like a clan, and they're like looking around. They're like, "Ooh, look at this." But they don't say anything, obviously. And then Deaf Girl is like, "OMG, what do we do?" And so they just like grab Deaf Girl and they're gonna take her away. And the Cillian Murphy is like, "What do I do?" And he looks at Deaf Girl and he goes,
Dive with hand motions,
which it
sign
means
language.
dive in sign language, because the only thing he ever knew from the first part of the movie.
Because he taught her
when
that way
he
back when.
Learns. Well, no, she taught.
Oh
him
yeah,
that.
sorry, yes, I just messed up. Even though it is a very self-evident, even if somebody did that to me, I'd be like, "Oh, they want me to dive."
So then Cillian Murphy starts moving around and makes a bunch of noise, and then, oh my gosh, the monsters come. They start killing everybody.
Oh my gosh! So you have this group of people. It's like a big, not a huge group of people, but it's like 7 people,
Probably. Maybe even a little more.
maybe even a little bit more, not including the little girl. And so it's like their plan is, we're gonna take everything from this person, including his, maybe they presume daughter, and I guess their plan is that he'll value his and his daughter's life, even though he has no idea if they're gonna kill his daughter. Well, not his daughter, but kill her,
Right.
do worse things to her. He has no idea what they could do, but they're like, but he'll probably not make any noise. And this must have worked before,
I guess, yeah.
right? Because it seems like it's a plan that they have. But who in the right mind is going to be like, "Yeah, I have the ability to summon monsters at all times, but I'll just let this happen because I'd rather
Exactly.
be alive and watch my family get murdered than dead, and the people who do bad things also dead." Nobody thinks like that, I think,
Yeah, I don't know. I
other
would
than
just start
other
yelling.
bad people. Yeah, because you're just like, "What do you do?" I'd literally just be like, "What are you doing?" And they'd all start freaking out. It's like, really? This was your plan? And the monsters just start coming?
That'd be funny in like a spoof.
Right, exactly. It's like, seriously? Are you sure?
So then they dive into the water
Mm-hmm.
to try to be safe.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Okay, we're in the water now." And you get a scene where we find out if the monsters can swim. They can't.
No, they cannot
They can't swim.
swim.
They jump in there, but they just drown.
I'm guessing that their armor must be like so dense that they can't float, and it just like they just sink. So they also need to breathe. So gas
yeah, when
weapons
they're
could also have been effective
Right.
on them. But also they lived in space, so there was an atmosphere of some sort that they were taking in space.
Somehow they were breathing.
Because how do they drown? Maybe they don't drown and they're just like stuck.
They're just at the bottom of the ocean, like, what
Just what are we doing? Like like Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah. And then everyone dies except for Cillian Murphy and the deaf girl, and they get on a boat and they go to the island.
Yep. And so Emily Blunt gets in the vault, and she's got the oxygen, and oh, Noah Jupe stole the oxygen from the baby, kinda. He was sharing it, but he took it, and Neither of them had oxygen, and you're like, oh my gosh, is he and the baby dead? But no, they're fine.
They're okay.
She gets the oxygen, she puts it, they all pass it like a blunt.
Yeah.
And
Puff puff
they're
pass.
just puff passing with the baby. And they're hanging out there for like the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
So they get to the island. It's really peaceful. They're
Mhm.
just having a little cookout. They're talking. Everything's
It's
totally
normal.
chill. Just normal life because there's no monster on the island. Super cool. And I guess they're just like, okay, we'll just live here now. Forget about the family I left behind.
Mhm.
Anyway, so their plan is to go to the radio place and like tell people that
Hold on.
sound
Can we back up?
works.
They're living on an island and it's fine. So what about like Hawaii?
It just depends if like one of the monsters landed there or not.
But Hawaii is like, it's like what, 5 main islands and
in
then
the
like
middle of the Pacific Ocean.
and then like 20. I mean, okay, Lilo and Stitch proves that it could happen.
yes,
you know.
right?
Literally, it's a Lilo and Stitch monster, except Stitch doesn't die. He's just scared. Well,
And
no, he
Stitch
would-
doesn't murder
He
everybody.
doesn't
if
murder
they make
everybody,
noise.
but he could. But yeah, it's like 5 main islands, and I'm sure there's other small islands. around
Hawaii is
there.
probably very safe. They probably just saw the news and they were like, "Wow,"
This sucks for them. Aloha.
and they're probably just chilling. Honestly,
They're just having luau's and doing other stereotypical Hawaiian things, eating pineapples. They're like, this tastes great. I hope my mainland family are not dead.
yeah. Hawaii's probably just chilling.
And there's like a lot of islands out there. What about Madagascar? It's pretty big. but
Madagascar probably chilling.
could be safe.
Indonesia probably chilling. Japan
Japan, yeah, a lot of Japan.
probably chilling. And it all depends if a monster
If one just
landed
happened
on
to land there,
not.
or if one happened to just like accidentally jump in a boat and happen to float all the way to their island, that's miles away from the
that could
mainland.
never happen.
That could never happen. So I don't think anybody would be worried about that. But legitimately, these places have militaries. These places probably have scientists who could be like, sound monsters. What do we do?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just that's the thing.
A Quiet Place 3 has a lot of explaining to do, and if it does, I'll be like, okay.
What if it is like just mainland America and everyone
Just
the rest
America,
the
not
rest
even
of,
China.
The
and
rest of the world is just like, look at this.
wait, how could it be? So it'd be all of North America into
Right, so,
South
like-
America.
Well, could they cross the Panama Canal?
I'm sure they could. They form a bridge like World War Z.
So North America and South America.
Also, they could probably jump pretty far. Right? They're strong.
They're fast.
Yeah, they're fast and strong, so they get a lot of speed and big jumps. They could probably cross. Maybe that's how they get to Hawaii. They go to California. They're like, guys, I got a plan. They all
Interesting.
jump.
I don't know. Anyway,
Anyway.
they're on the island. Everything's really nice.
Mhm.
But oh my gosh, one of the aliens was on the boat.
Well,
and
hold on.
floated
First.
across. What?
Guys, I know the guy who greets him. Guys, look. I know that you have a family that's still out there in the middle of the most dangerous place to be ever. And I know we could solve the problem right now in an island with no threats just by walking and spending maybe, 5 minutes in the middle of the night to just turn on the radio. But let's do it tomorrow, okay? It's late. My kids, they're going to be cranky. Instead of solving the problem across the whole entire world right now, let's just sleep for 8 hours first. Okay?
Okay. Good plan.
Yeah.
Good morning. There's an alien that floated across on the boat and is now on the
How
island.
could this have happened? We just said that's so improbable. Unless he paddled it specifically.
I don't know. It kills everybody almost. And they get in a car with the dude, and he's like,
Jimon, the actor's name is something like
Yeah.
that.
and he's like honking to try to get it to follow them. And he's like, OMG, did we lose it? Did I go too fast?
Mhm.
Here's the radio station. Go in there. I will leave this garage door open just in case.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Just like Samuel L. Jackson
And Deep Blue
in
Sea.
Deep Blue Sea.
He gets killed.
Yeah.
OMG, now it's just Killing Murphy and Deaf Girl again.
Mhm.
They're inside, but the monster's there, but she makes it to the radio station, and Killing Murphy gets his legs cut,
Yeah.
and the monster's gonna kill him, but she's like,
She puts the thing on the mic just like the one like looks like this and goes
and then
Goes off the
sound
radio.
broadcasts.
and it freaks out.
Alien's like,
And so the kid back in the vault hears this, so he does the same thing and he turns up the radio real loud, and that one freaks out, and he goes out and he shoots that one, and then Millicent Simmons, I think,
hits it with a
hits it with like a chair leg or something and kills it with
Kills
her
it,
bear.
stabs it.
Yeah.
and they both kill the monsters at the same time, and
then
the
immediately
movie
cut to black.
just ends.
Immediately cut to black, over, movie done.
Yeah, the movie just ends, and it's like, okay.
So what are the things that have to be true for all the things that are wrong with this movie, you know, quote unquote, to be like fixed? So you could make, if they said the monsters were intelligent, you know, because right now they just seem like beasts, whatever. If they said, oh no, they're actually kind of smart, that could maybe solve a few things, because that would mean, oh, they can differentiate sounds. You know, so be like, I get that, sure.
Okay.
Not all sounds, but some sounds, like a fire, they'd be like, oh, it's a fire, you know. If they're someone intelligent, that's that. If the water thing with the islands, if maybe they don't die and they just walk under the ocean and it just takes them a while, and that's how they get other places. I guess I buy that. Sure.
It'd be so funny at the beginning of A Quiet Place 3. It's like 400 of the aliens just like walking on the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. And then they all
We're
come to
almost there,
Hawaii,
guys.
and everyone in Hawaii is like, oh, I'm so glad. And they just totally storm it. That could work. I've seen a lot of theories that people put out, just reading reviews for this, that a lot of people seem convinced that like this was not a coincidence, that somebody or something sent the aliens to Earth.
Oh.
And they're like, there's more aliens, and they like, that's like their attack hounds, and they send those in to kill everything on the planet, and then they come and they recolonize it.
That could be interesting.
That would be interesting, but I was like, that's really high concept.
Yeah.
And
I
I
don't
would
know if that's what he was thinking.
I
when
would
he
be
first made it.
surprised, but I guess it would make
That'd be
sense.
cool. Yeah, like really smart aliens come down. They're like, look at you, idiot, feeble humans.
Right, yeah. Like, they have some way to control them, and they're like, yeah, they're no problem. So that's like 3 ways that it's like, okay, I guess some of the stuff that you were saying kind of makes sense.
Interesting.
But as it is now, the second movie, halfway through, I was like, wow, I'm impressed. This movie is pretty dang good. And then it just like really hard drop. I guess it was when they split up,
Yeah.
where I was like, oh no, the movie is not as good as I previously had thought it to be.
Oh no.
It was not
Yeah.
happy with that. They had us in the first half.
They did have us in the first half, not gonna lie.
Not gonna
Also,
lie.
it would be interesting to know if in the next movie, if other people have realized that you can make high frequency noise and kill
Well, I
them.
assume they just expand it on the radio, and they'd have a message where it's like, if you have a radio, turn it on, and then you're fine. Because they're really like, they're extremely incapacitated.
They can't do anything.
She took one out basically with her bare hands. She had a pole, you know?
Yeah.
So like it honestly was part of the thing that also made it confusing, because I was like, even if just 2 people went with the daughter instead of her alone, it would really turn most things into not a threat.
Yeah.
Just put the speaker thing on. Maybe they get used to it after a while. I don't know. Maybe you have to kill them right away.
I don't know. Anyway. Whatever.
It's if you like the first one, you'll like the second one. It's easy as that. Simple as that.
It's that simple.
It's that simple.
You know what else is simple?
Huh.
Resident Evil 8.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I
I mean, I disagree. It's not, that,
not
simple.
that simple.
It's actually pretty.
I played it.
Yeah.
And I beat it. And it was good. It was the first Resident Evil game I ever played. Just hopped right in. You know, might as well. It was pretty fun. The story was interesting. I felt like I wasn't like totally lost.
Yeah.
Gameplay was pretty fun. The puzzles, I'm not really good at puzzles, so some of them really confused me.
I did have to help you out on
You had to
one.
help me one time. Looks great.
Yeah, the interior specifically.
Yeah, especially in
really
Castle
killer.
Dimitrescu.
Yeah.
Looked really good. The level design was really cool, especially the factory. I thought the factory was really cool level design. But I think the game peaks too early with the castle sequence. And then it gets kind of like, whatever. Then you fight Heisenberg, which I thought was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then you fight Miranda.
Mother Miranda. Yeah.
And I thought that fight was kind of underwhelming. because it was literally just like she was cool.
She was cool, yeah.
But you just shoot her the whole time. You
Yeah.
don't have to like do anything. You just shoot her as much
Yeah,
as you can.
because she's like on top of whatever, and she's like, waking up the members of my nation.
Yeah.
It's your time, and you have to like blast her head off.
I just wish there was more to that fight or something.
Sure, yeah.
And then it ends, and I was like, that was a pretty fun game.
Yeah. It obviously has sort of major vibrations for the rest of, if you do know the universe, of like, what is going on.
Yeah.
But I guess we won't get into spoilers for any
Right.
of that, just in case anybody's listening.
Yeah, but I thought it was good.
Yeah,
and
you
I'll play
win at
next
the
one.
end. Spoilers.
Oh no,
The bad guy
beat
dies.
The bad guy. Dang it. And then I watched a movie, kind of.
Okay.
It was very late at night. Me and some buddies were like, let's watch a movie on Netflix. We
Okay.
were like, okay. Well, I found this movie called Ghosts of War. Well, we were like, let's watch a war movie. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
I found this, Ghosts of War, on Netflix from the last year.
How good is it?
Not at all. Very, very poor film.
Nice.
I fell asleep about halfway through.
Oh,
Maybe even earlier than that.
even like on chat talking to people, you still fell asleep?
Yes.
Okay.
I woke up
Wow.
when it was ending. But listen to this. It's crazy.
Okay.
So the movie it's World War II.
Okay.
And there's this group of soldiers who were like going to like relieve these other soldiers who were like in this house for whatever reason.
Okay.
They get there and the soldiers there are like, oh, thank you. I can't wait to leave this house. And they're like, oh, okay. It turns out the house is haunted.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh. Scary stuff
Yeah.
going on. A bunch of scary stuff happens and it's all really bad and terrible. And I fell asleep and I couldn't tell you what happens in the middle part, but I'm assuming it was just like stupid scares and stuff.
That's what happened to me with King Kong. That was my exact experience. I fell asleep, woke up right at the end. I literally woke up at 'Twas Beauty That Killed the Beast. And I was like, great movie, 10 out of 10.
Fantastic. Anyway, I woke up at the end of the movie. Turns out they're in a simulation the whole time.
Wow. That's crazy. That's like a Black Mirror episode.
So they were, yeah. I don't know why,
Right.
but it was like modern time and these soldiers were being put in this simulation.
Against their will, or they knew?
I don't know.
Okay.
I was like halfway
Very
awake.
happy. Yeah, okay.
But from what I saw, the movie, really terrible. From what my friends said, they said it was just really bad.
Okay.
Ghost of War, if you want to see it, crazy ending plot twist that I just spoiled.
yeah,
It's
check it out.
all the simulation the whole time. Check it out.
Well, speaking of scary things, also it sounds more like it should be called Ghosts of Boar. Speaking of scary things, I watched a movie directed by George Romero.
Oh yeah.
Kind of scary. It was an older movie that was kind of lost. It was kind of one of those lost movies. It was called The Amusement Park.
Oh, I think I heard about this.
And it was kind of rediscovered, re-restored recently, you know, with all the good stuff. The only copy was like pretty damaged, but they were able to like bring it back. And it's like an hour long, and it's just a movie about an old dude at an amusement park, and it is very clearly a, you know, like it literally opens up, and the main actor is like, hey, I'm an actor. This is a movie about getting old and how it sucks. And so it's literally a guy, it opens up, the first shot of the actual film is, I thought it was really iconic. I really, really liked it. You see this old guy, he's just kind of in that friendly pear-shaped man, you know? And he's got like some facial hair, and he's got white hair, and he's got like blood scars on his face and like a bandage, and he's dark circles under his eyes, black cane, all white suit, sitting in an all white room on like white folding chairs. And he is just like tired. He's just sitting there like absolutely dead. He's just like,
He's a zombie.
and so somebody walks in, and it's him, but his hair's all clean. He's got a bright face, and he's like, don't you want to go outside? And the guy's like, there's nothing out there. There's nothing outside. He's like, don't you like to walk around? And he's like, there's nothing, right? He's like, well, I'm going to go outside. It's very nice meeting you. And he leaves, and the movie starts. And it's really not a movie. It's kind of just like a collection of scenes of horrible things happening.
Okay.
And they're very obvious, like direct comparisons, like to things that just happen to old people, like elder abuse in general, or just like being deemed like being people think of you as like stupid because you're old or whatever, just stuff like that. Like there's a scene where he's riding the bumper cars, and he sees an old couple hit a young person in a bumper car, and they treat it like it's an actual car interaction, like a cop comes, it's like, did you damage his vehicle? You know, it's just using the amusement park as just a place to set it.
That's
and I
cool.
think he shot it in like 3 days. It was a very quick, you know, project, but it still looks like really good for that. And I won't get into the ins and outs of every single scene, but just know it was more of a collection of scenes where things kind of get worse and worse, and he gets more distraught and like disheveled. It kind of felt almost like a long Twilight Zone episode in that way. And there's a scene near the end where he's kind of been dismissed or ignored or like, you know, spat upon, beat up by people. Scene at the end where there's just like this family at the park, and they're like, you know, a grassy patch in the middle of the amusement park for like seating and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a little girl, and he's like, oh, will you read me this story? He's like, oh, of course. He's like, oh, do you want some chicken? He's like, oh, I'd love some chicken, right? And he's like reading the Three Little Pigs story to this little girl, and he's having a good time. And he gets about halfway through the story, and then the mom's like, okay, we gotta leave. And he's like reading it, and he's like trying to like, he's like, don't go. So he starts reading faster and faster, and he's like holding onto the book, and the mom's like taking it, and he just starts like sobbing and crying. And it's like, I did not expect to be affected by it that much.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, this sucks. This is tough to watch. And that's at the point where he goes back to the white room, and he sits down, and he's all disheveled. And the guy walks in, and he's like, don't you want to go outside?
Yeah.
He's like, there's nothing here. And then the movie ends, and it's just, he comes back, the actor, and he talks about, everybody gets old. This is going to be you one day. You know, that's what he says. And he's like, there's institutions where you can, you know, stop elder abuse, you know, make sure that they're still valued as members of society. They're not treated as trash or whatever. They're not disposed of. And that's the whole thing. That's what it's about. It's about old people. I think it was even like a film that was like commissioned almost for like some sort of educational purposes. But very fun. If you're into George A. Romero, you'll love it. If you're even a horror fan, you'll probably find something to get out of it. If you're not into either of those things, I mean, if you like film, I'm sure you'll like it. But if you're just a regular person, you probably wouldn't get too much.
If you like abusing elderly people,
you'll hate it because it'll make you look like a mean biker. But yeah, I liked it. It's on Shudder. It's only like 54 minutes long. It's not that much. Good time. I also watched a comedy stand-up special from Bo Burnham called Inside.
So did everybody else.
So did everybody else.
Except for me.
Except for you.
I don't really like stand-up comedy.
Well, good, because this isn't stand-up comedy. That was a lie. This is a... I mean, there's...
I know what it is, but...
Right, yeah.
Also not my thing. Bo Burnham, also not my thing.
Yeah. Well, it's not that either, because it's different. It's more of just a view of what the pandemic and sort of the isolation has on people. The first, I don't know, half of it is comedy, and then the second half is like, this is everything that's wrong with the world, and this is how it's affecting people. And there's not many jokes going on.
Very nice.
It's more just like, at first he's like, oh, I have so much time to work on my stuff, and he has a few funny songs. It's like a white woman on Instagram, look at her, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Look at this funny sock puppet. And then it's like, oh, we're all dying, and then corporations are making money off of people all dying. That's not good. Also, I'm very sad and horny. And, you know, and so that's the second half of it. And he made it totally by himself, as in the production-wise. I'm pretty sure he had editor, colorist, stuff like that. But as far as the shooting of it, it was all him. Really good job.
Mm-hmm.
This is obviously the last thing he's done since 8th grade, I believe. This is like the next thing he's put out. He was in Promising Young Woman too, but that was just acting thing.
Yeah.
And so there's a collection of songs. I just want to say, musically, I think this is him at his best, just music-wise. I think he seemed like he put a lot of time into the singing and the recording of the songs and just the general composition of them. I thought they were quite good. You know, there's kind of like a nice overture at the end with all the themes of the songs that had come through. That was all fantastic. He's got nice lights going on because it all takes place literally in one room. So he's got a bunch of different lights, some different props, stuff like that. Very cool. It gets very real, you know, at times, addressing like how it's affected his mental health. And let's get to the other side of it, where a lot of people, there's criticisms because, I mean, it's obvious reasons. He's like a millionaire. I'm pretty sure he has a wife. You know, I think he shot it in his guest house, not his actual house. Nice. So it's like, yes, it's not to sweep away the fact, because I kind of agree with these criticisms, sort of. It's not to sweep away the fact that, oh, if you have money, then you can't be mentally disturbed by not being able to do anything. Like, obviously, that's not true. But it does, just because of who Bo Burnham is and how transparent he's always strived to be. It seemed weird to me that he never really directly addresses the fact that like during this whole point he wasn't working, but it's not like he had to worry about eating.
Right.
When there's plenty of people that were like depending on a stimulus check to be like, I need to be able to stay in a home or an apartment or whatever. Obviously, this is aspects that he never addresses because he's never had to deal with it. And I felt slightly weird just because he is so honest that he was never like, oh, but at least I could be alive happily, or not happily, but be alive. It was just something where I was like, I wish. But again, that would take people out of, the relatability of it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But again, he's never been the person to like strive for relatability, I thought. I don't know. I'd need to talk to him myself. Maybe he just didn't think of it, which is fine.
Bo Burnham does character assassination on himself.
But yeah, that's character suicide, I suppose. And he oh damn it, what was I about to say? I was thinking about suicide. I'd need to talk to him himself and just see what he thinks of that. If he thinks that has credence, if he's like, oh, that was an oversight, whatever. His art, this is what I was going to say. His art has always been a reflection of himself. It's always been all about him, so it's weird to expect that to change, but just that oversight to me felt a little bit odd. It just gave me pause. I still love it. I still think it's fantastic. Probably the best thing to come out of any pandemic era thing ever, So great. It's fantastic. I hope he makes another movie.
I thought the Great Depression was pretty cool after the 1918 flu. Thought that was a pretty cool thing.
Okay. Sure. Thank you for sharing. And then real quick, last thing here. I played a game for 2 hours, maybe 2-3 hours. It's Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. I spoke about it last week. I'm not going to get into it because by next episode I'll have it beaten and we can get into it then.
Okay.
But this game's great so far. I like Rivet. She's cute. That is all.
Is she hot?
She is hot.
You on that Rule 34 gang?
I am on that Rivet34.net. No, she's cute. She got a robot arm, so I bet it has like a vibrate function. She can put it right up there.
Okay. Let's go to the next part of the show.
Next part of the show is news. More video game stuff though. Still.
Yes, the greatest thing ever happened 2 days ago. There was the Summer Game Fest presented by Prime Gaming. And the unthinkable happened. A trailer.
Except it leaked that it was going to happen. So sort of unthinkable. Elden Ring.
The trailer for Elden Ring finally happened after 2 years. They finally did it to the day. 2 years to the day it released. The first trailer released on the 10th of June, and the second one released the 10th of June again. Also during a partial eclipse, which is just very FromSoft.
Yeah.
And it looks
bad.
Absolutely incredible.
Incredible, I mean.
Stop.
No, it looks I mean, I do think I don't think it looks fantastic, but I think it's like, it looks like more FromSoft Dark Souls kind of stuff. Good.
Yes,
that's
this
good.
Is what we want.
But I don't think it looks like a step up or anything.
Stop.
That's
what
me.
Are you talking about?
To me, I'm just like, it looks like it's just going to be the same game, but like open, which doesn't add much for me. I know some people get bothered by the linear aspects of the Souls games, but that's never once bothered me.
It has both. This one has both.
Right. But that's not like a value add to me. It's just like different.
We'll have to see.
I mean, if I think most of the games are like 9s out of 10s, this one's going to be a 9 out of 10. So I'm excited.
This one has a horsey.
If I would say anything, it's hard to tell from the trailer, obviously, but with the new, more open aspect, that makes me also feel that story is going to be even less. We'll
see.
Understandable.
George R. R. Martin might have something up his sleeve.
That's the thing. That would be a value add to me if there was more story, because obviously they have a lot of stories like on the side that are super interesting, but it's not. You don't interact with those stories.
Yeah, the story's never like the main focus.
If the actual story you interacted with was punched up a bit in this game, that's a value add to me. So that's something we'll just have to wait and see how that turns out.
We'll see. We will see.
But yeah, we still know it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, it'll be freaking sweet. They never disappointed one time.
Also, if there was like a real co-op mode, that'd be cool.
There is. It's 1 to 4 people.
Oh, really? And it's not like summons? It's like...
Oh, no, yeah. You're going to be summoning people.
No, I don't like summons. I wish they had like a real, like, No, like there's a game, Divinity Original Sin 2 is the one I played, where it's like you can have two people and it's literally just go wherever. Like you could be on one side of the map, other person could be the other side, or you could be teaming up and it's just play the game.
Well, we don't know exactly how it'll work, but
right.
you can see in the trailer very clearly
there's
he's
summon
summoning
people, yeah,
but you don't know like how it's gonna work.
Because sometimes it's like
you can just go anywhere.
Oh, summon after each like boss fight, you know, like keep resummoning,
Right.
resummoning. If they made it summon and then you're there until you're unsummoned, that'd be great. That would be
we'll
good
just have
enough
to
for what
see.
I'm looking for, you know.
So yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, obviously the Berserk inspiration was very prominent.
Yes.
In the trailer.
Mm.
Rest in peace,
You're
the guy that
yeah.
made Berserk. I don't know his name.
Kentaro Miura, I think.
Sounds good.
Something like that.
Anyway, January 21st, I'll be very much playing that game a lot.
I probably will be too, I imagine. Well, actually, I don't know. I might wait for assuming they're going to do DLC. They
Watch
didn't-
my stream.
They didn't for Sekiro. But assuming they go back to doing DLC, I like to buy those complete packs. That's always been my thing. Anyway, speaking of rings, Lord of the Rings
Oh,
anime feature will depict bloody saga of the War of the Rohirrim. Veteran anime
Rohirrim.
veteran anime filmmaker Kenji
Rohirrim.
Kamiyama will explore the bloody saga behind Helm's Deep. First
Bloody.
seen-
Will it be bloody?
Yeah, probably. Anime can be a lot bloodier than normal things.
Oh, this is anime?
Yeah, anime feature
Oh.
right there.
Okay.
And veteran anime filmmaker Kenji Kamiyama
Okay.
said it twice.
Sorry, I was trying to pronounce it.
Rohirrim. Yeah, so I'll
So
be
it's
honest,
a movie?
Yeah, it's an animated movie. I've never actually been like a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. Like obviously it's great, but I've never been one to
Me
like
too.
put the ring in my house, you know, and be like, oh
Yeah.
look, it's the one ring or the swords or
I'm the
whatever.
same.
But it's still really cool, and I'll definitely check it out if the people say it's good.
The people.
The people, you know the people. The people who matter, like Chris.
Frodo, do.
And Ryan and Benjamin and Zach. Them. If they say it's good, I'll check it out.
Yep.
But yeah, it's cool. Be on the lookout, Lord of the Rings fans. I'm pretty sure we brought up this news before, but we have a little more info. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot from Seth Rogen, Nickelodeon, set for 2023.
It's a long time from
It'll
now.
be an animated movie. Yeah, CG animated reboot of the Turtles for August 11th, 2023. And that'll be that.
Cool.
If I trust anybody to do it, it'd be Seth Rogen. I feel like
Yeah.
he could pull off all the sides of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's exciting. My favorite is Raph, IL.
I'm not big on the mutant.
You
Ninja
don't have
Turtles.
any out of the four.
Orange is my favorite color,
You
so
like
I guess
Michelangelo.
Michelangelo.
Who's the blue one?
Raphael?
Oh no, Raphael's the red one. We're moving on. I can't stand to talk to you.
Leonardo's the blue one.
Yes, and Donatello is the purple one.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah, I
who
know.
else is the purple one? Is
No.
the Jackass director, because he's wearing a purple suit coat in this image I'm seeing of him.
Okay.
He issues a restraining order against Bam Margera following death threats.
Whoa.
Bam Margera was basically like, look at your kids. I hope you feel safe. No, what is it? If you don't sign the paper, look at your children. Sign your stupid fucking contract before you're not safe anywhere. That's what he said.
Wow.
And so basically he's kind of, I mean, you know, he has his issues of abusing whatever. And so people are just kind of wary of him. And he was singling out Jeff Tremaine and Johnny Knoxville and saying like, they betrayed me or whatever. And I don't care about this story too much, but I just wanted to use it to kind of, could you not breathe into your mic? Thank you. And I wanted to use the story to just say, what do you think of the Jackass films?
I've never seen any of them.
Really?
Yes.
I'm glad I put the story in because that's crazy to me. I saw one of them, can't tell you which. It was the one that they were in a shopping cart and they went down a hill.
Cool.
And they fell and I was 8 and I clapped.
Very nice.
It was good. Not a huge fan of Jackass. I think it's a little juvenile, Jackass. You know, I think it's a little lowbrow. My taste is a little bit above that. You know, or maybe my IQ is just not high enough for Jackass. I get it. It's fun, but like, not all the time, but like, I feel like it's a lot funnier if you're there. If they did a live production Jackass, I'd watch that. You actually get to see them bleed. give it to me. You know?
Okay.
They should turn Jackass into a live stream is all I'm saying. Now, you're a taxpayer, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, SpongeBob hates you. And
Dang it.
so do the Transformers.
Dang it.
Because SpongeBob and Transformers cost U.S. taxpayers $4 billion, study says.
Cool.
This is basically, well, I'll read this. A new report details Viacom CBS's use of a labyrinthine tax shelter to sell rights to its shows and films overseas. So basically what they do is they take these productions that were made mostly in America, and a lot of the profits come from America, and they send them over to like the Netherlands where the taxes are not as insane. Not that the taxes are insane, but they're lesser. And they're like, oh, but this is a Netherlands product, so tax it with the Netherlands taxes. So instead of getting, $1 million taken out, they get 100,000, and they get quick money in the bank. So it's basically just using a bunch of subsidiaries to just kind of. Here's the thing, it seems like it's completely legal, and that's the point that they make because Viacom CBS is like, this study sucks, we hate it. But it's more of just like, oh, this is a loophole that companies can take, and it seems like most companies take to just sidestep the taxes on American things. And really, it's like, how do you even blame them if they can do it? It's like, how do you expect them not to? I get it. It sucks, but I can't expect any corporation to do anything good ever.
Capitalism, baby.
So, I just moving the licensing rights from a country to another is just a matter of paperwork, as this says. So
what
it's
if we got rid of all the paper?
all paper, like the trees too.
All of the paper.
Okay, I mean, we're not using any paper right now.
What if we infected all the trees with a virus so that they could no longer create paper?
like they were all really soft? All the trees were soft and bendy, and the paper would just couldn't cut into it. That could work. I'll look into it.
Okay.
But yeah, I just really thought the idea of SpongeBob stealing $4 billion from U.S. taxpayers is just really funny in my mind.
That's nice.
Movie Pass. Remember Movie Pass?
No?
You don't remember Really? Jesus. Movie Pass actively tried to stop users from seeing movies. Movie Pass, if you don't know, was a service where you paid a fee and then you could see as many movies as you wanted. You'd pay $10 a month, and that you could just see as many movies. You could see a movie every day for free because you paid the subscription service.
That sounds ridiculous.
So basically their idea was like, oh, as long as people only see 2 movies a month, we'll make money. Obviously, people saw way more movies than 2 movies a month. If you're paying for a service, you're going to take advantage of the service.
Yes.
This is very deeply flawed. But anyway, let's see what they did. They did this. They stopped people from seeing movies in 3 calculated ways. First, MoviePass invalidated users' passwords and claimed that it had detected fraud related to their accounts falsely. So there was no fraud detected, but they told you that there was.
Nice.
And they reset your passwords. And according to the complaint, they did it to 75,000 users, many of whom were then locked out of their accounts as MoviePass's password reset process often failed.
Nice.
That's step 1. And it says that the CEO was either knew about it or he ordered it and helped make it happen.
Cool.
Second, they allegedly launched a ticket verification program that didn't work correctly and blocked thousands of subscribers from using the service. And perhaps most outrageously, they used tripwires that blocked certain groups of users, typically people who viewed more than 3 movies per month, from using the service after they collectively hit certain thresholds based on their monthly cost to the company. So that's a 3 things that they did to stop people from using their service.
Nice.
And so this thing burned to the ground in 2019. And also apparently their servers were all like unprotected, and you didn't even need a password to go see everybody who signs up, like addresses and credit card information. It was just there, so you could just look it up and be
Very
like,
nice.
oh look, it's I have all of their information. And I did that to quite a few people apparently.
Wow.
I just MoviePass just wants to stop people from seeing movies, I guess. Good riddance.
Yeah, I'm a movie club member.
Yeah.
Much better.
That's different. But speaking of movies that you don't want to see, let's get to our spotlight.
Wait,
What?
we're bringing it back.
Oh, sure, yeah. I usually we do that at the top of the news, but I forget.
Oh,
Whatever. Okay.
we're bringing it back. Well, we never really had it in the first place.
Yes.
Because when we first started this podcast, that's when the movies stopped.
Yeah.
But the movies are back now.
Back, baby.
So we can do... Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Okay. Yep.
You know what that sound is? Money.
That's money sound.
You know what money means? Box office.
Box office time.
The box office time is here.
What's happening in the box office?
So we're just gonna look back on the past 2 weeks since we have 2 weeks in between. The week of May 28th to June 23rd, it was Quiet Place Part 2. Listen to this. This is actually pretty cool.
Okay.
Almost $70 million. $69 million.
Nice.
That's honestly pretty good.
Yeah.
Um,
Domestic?
yes, domestic.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. So it does seem like movies are back and rolling with it. And then way far behind at 30 million is Cruella. And then nothing else is even close. One thing I found interesting was that number 10 on this list is the World War Z re-release with $450,000.
Nice. Good for them.
Interesting thing. And then this latest week, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It.
I forgot that
is
came
at
out.
the top of the box office with $33 million in its first week. Quiet Place right behind with almost $30 million. Their total gross domestically is almost $100 million. It's pretty cool. And then Spirit Untamed, which I don't know if I want to see because I spoke about how much I enjoy the first Spirit movie.
That was one of our first episodes.
And Spirit Untamed, I just don't really know if that's for me. It made about $8.5 million. Good for them.
Yeah. Good for Spirit.
So yeah, that's what's going on. So we're gonna be doing this every episode now. I thought, a little fun thing.
We'll keep up to date.
Keep up to date. Let you know what movies are doing good.
Now it's time for spotlights.
Spotlight.
And if you'll remember at the top of the show, I said we're doing the Friezerverse. And what is the Friezerverse? Well, that's Aaron Seltzer and Jason Friedberg, who are two writers who didn't go to film school and made some movies.
Made a lot of movies.
They wrote, one of their big things that really broke them out was they wrote the original script for Scary Movie. And what I learned was that that's not the script they used. They then sold that script to people who gave it to 4 other writers, and they rewrote the script, and that turned into Scary Movie. So I don't know how much...
So they wrote it.
So they wrote it, and they deserve all the praise.
Very cool.
Anyway, we have a couple of movies up here that... is there anything you want to say before we get started on the nitty-gritty of the of all these movies?
Just wanted to mention that these two, they changed cinema forever.
That's in 2006. They did.
They just changed cinema forever. And we're going to talk about all the movies that they wrote and directed.
With the film Date movie starting us off from 2006, their directorial debut, I should say. Mm-hmm. They'd written like 40, scripts that they sold, but probably hundreds that just never went anywhere.
Yeah, I would like to see those.
Yeah, I want to see what didn't make the cut. But they're like, you know what, this isn't, I don't know.
How'd you like Date movie?
Date movie? I don't think it's the worst one.
Date movie is terrible.
Date movie's pretty bad. It's one of the grossest, for sure. It's got like shit jokes. There's a part where there's a puppet cat shitting on the toilet like fiercely.
Yeah.
And it goes on for like minutes. There's like a part where the fat lady gets all the fat sucked out of her, and it's got like chicken wings in her mouth and stuff like that. Gross stuff. Also pretty sexual at times.
Date.
Yeah, date movie. So I suppose that's true. And mostly it's just not that funny.
There's one funny part in this whole movie.
What do you think?
It is where they're doing like a bachelor thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's huge
spoof.
cock?
No.
Oh.
And they're like, it's like real close to the beginning. And they're like, okay, you need to get rid of some of the options. And he pulls out a shotgun and just starts like killing all the people.
Shooting the women instead of whatever.
That's funny.
Okay, yeah.
That was the only part I laughed at. The rest is just
yeah.
nonsense.
So the plot of the film Date movie, it's just a spoof on romantic comedies. there's a fat girl, and she's like, "Oh, I need a person," and then there's a handsome guy, and then it's like, "Oh, they're trying to get together," but everybody doesn't want them to, kinda, and that's the plot, I guess. You
Don't
know?
watch Date Movie. It's horrendous.
But there is a musical number, right?
I
Date Movie?
don't remember.
I think
There
aren't they at the
probably
dinner
is.
table and they start like singing? I remember it was like obviously I watched these in order, so it was a while ago.
Maybe.
But I think there's a musical number that's important to the overall.
There's lots of musical numbers.
Because guess what? When people are just dancing to music, you don't really need to write anything.
Ding 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 ding.
That's
ding,
exciting.
ding, ding,
So
ding.
date movie.
Interesting. Here's the
Interesting.
thing. The budget for this movie:
Okay.
$20 million. Worldwide gross: $84 million, $795,656. Well worth it for the Friezerverse.
I guess people saw. They're like, wow, these boys know what they're doing. They know what's happening in the world. I mean, that's good. That it's a cheap movie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought it was a what'd you say, $20 million movie?
Yep.
I wouldn't have thought that. Looking at it, but
That's
I
$20 million,
guess
man.
I guess they do have like a Yoda appearance in it. Fake Yoda, but still Yoda.
Yeah.
There's like, I don't know where the money would go.
I don't know.
This one, because there's kind of two types of movies that they ended up making. This one is chock full of references to different things, different properties, different actors, actresses.
Right.
There's a ton of them. There's like Pimp My Ride. There's Hitch. There's a lot of stuff going. There's like J-Lo, I think, and her fat ass.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff like that, and I would say that it's probably my preferred method of them making movies.
Yeah, just with all the references.
I like it
everywhere.
with the huge mishmash of what is going on, because
Yes.
at least gives you something to think about. Our next movie is in the same vein. It is Epic Movie from 2007.
Yeah, baby.
What do you think of Epic Movie?
It's okay.
Epic Movie's pretty okay.
It's pretty alright.
It's got some funny bits. I really like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory guy.
That great part.
I think he's funny. He's horrifying, and I don't know. It just makes me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Another great thing is that, and I could actually say this for the first movie as well, the actors, the cast, are like decent. You
Yes.
know, they've got some, especially in this movie, some pretty nice chemistry between the four of them. This one is like it's a Narnia ripoff mostly.
Yeah.
So you have like these four orphans, and they all stick together throughout the whole film, and they just have a good back and forth with each other, I think. And it's the same guy from Date Movie too in this
Yeah.
one. So you have the Narnia. You got Kevin Hart in this film, which is
Unreal.
great. He's
Unreal that Kevin Hart's in this movie.
he's got like blonde hair and he's got like all white makeup on, so he just looks like a crazy person.
Mhm.
He's got like maybe a funny bit or two.
He just screams.
He
The
just
whole
screams,
movie.
and just shouts and runs at people,
Yeah, and then he dies.
and he shoots a goat. Yeah. You have Jack Sparrow in this one.
Great.
You have I'm just trying to think what there's so much. Harry Potter is in this one. I
Oh,
thought
yeah, the
that's
Harry
pretty funny. The
Potter's
Harry Potter part's pretty funny. So it's just reference after reference after reference. X-Men as well is in this. The Da Vinci Code, Snakes on a Plane, and Nacho Libre are all their four origin stories. That's the movies
Yes.
they're from. And
Nacho Libre.
yeah, this one, I'm trying to think. Do any of them have heart? I'm gonna say no. I don't-
Yes.
The what? Which one?
The best one.
Okay, we'll see about that when we get there. But yeah, Epic Movie. It was not a disaster. You know, there's definitely parts where you can be like, oh, okay.
So let's get into the budget. But the budget here. By the way, it's received a 2% Rotten Tomatoes approval. It's rotten.
Nice.
This film's rotten.
No, it's 2% fresh, I thought. So it's not rotten.
Yeah,
It's
2% fresh, so it's
98% rotten. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how their scoring system.
$20 million again, and this one made $86 million. So more than Date Movie.
Nice.
People loved Date Movie,
People
and they
loved
were
it.
like, let's see Epic
I'm ready
Movie.
for Epic Movie. I'm glad that it made more because it is a better movie. I said it wasn't disaster, but you know what was a disaster?
What?
Disaster movie.
Oh man.
Because this one, if you followed us on Twitter, that's what we tweeted was a clip from Disaster movie.
Yes, which is very funny for the first half.
It's very funny first half. One of the main characters for like the first third of the movie is Kim Kardashian.
Yes.
What?
Just amazing.
What?
It's actually just Kim Kardashian.
It's just her. She's acting.
But then she dies in the movie.
She dies. She's like, guys have a bad feeling about this. Then like a cow falls on her and she dies.
And then the movie gets a lot worse. Very not funny at all after that.
The main actor is Matt Lanter, I think. He's Anakin in the Clone Wars. He voices him.
Very cool.
It's a very neat little detail. This one is so strange because it's a lot of references, but in this one, part of the main cast, two of the characters, are characters from movies.
From like movies, yeah.
You have Juno from Juno, and then you have Giselle from Enchanted. And they're two of the main characters. And I thought that was a very bizarre choice for the worst of the movie, probably overall. Juno got a few laughs out of me, I'll be honest. But they kill her off, and then, basically everybody gets killed off.
It's a disaster, man.
Yeah, it's a disaster.
The chipmunks get them.
The chipmunks, oh boy, the chipmunks, they're horrifying.
The chipmunks are crazy in this movie.
They love human flesh, and they're just like really strong, and they can fly.
They can do it all.
They can do it all.
They can do it all.
There's a part where they're just like, at first they're like singing Christmas songs, then they start doing like death metal, like evil incarnate, evil incarnate. They're just
kind of funny.
They're foaming at the mouth with rabies and
Yep.
they got crazy eyes. And they're like, "We'll fucking kill you, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
You have tasty nuts." So stuff like that. And yeah, the movie starts up here and just
Downhill ride the whole
downhill.
way.
And it starts in 10,000 BC
I know.
with Avril Lavigne.
Amazing.
There's less and less to like about this film as the movie goes on. It's really about a guy trying to save his girlfriend in the middle of this, apocalypse stuff going on. Batman's there. Not his main character, but he shows up for a second. He's like, I'm getting out of here.
Batman.
And then they reconnect, and then they get married at the end. But he has one thing to tell her before they get married. Really?
I don't remember this.
He's dating Matt Damon. What? And I'm dating Beowulf.
Oh, yeah.
And it ends with a nice song. I actually think the song's kind of catchy.
It is catchy.
So you go to every single reference in the movie, and they're all dating each other.
Mm.
So you have Beowulf, Kung Fu Panda, Indiana Jones, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Avril Lavigne, or Amy Winehouse. Sorry, not Avril Lavigne.
Oh.
I get them confused.
Right.
Amy Winehouse, Juno, the High School Musical cast.
Right.
And it goes through every single one, so you just get a recap. Hulk, Iron Man, Batman, they're all there. In case you forgot, Hellboy.
Hellboy, yeah.
In case you forget any, just watch that song, and then you're like, you basically watched the movie at that point, you know?
There you go, yeah.
So disaster movie.
This one got a 1% tomato meter.
Too high.
$20 million again on the budget, and this one made only $34 million.
Ooh, that's cutting it kind of close.
Huge downgrade.
Makes sense, though. It sucks.
So yeah, very interesting there.
But it's 2008, so maybe they're like, oh, so let's make another movie in 2008.
Okay.
We have Meet the Spartans.
Yeah.
And you like this one.
I like Meet the Spartans. I think it's funny.
I mean, I don't hate it. It's not the worst one, but I'd still put it below Epic Movie to me.
It's close.
It's close. It's close.
It's in the top 3.
So Meet the Spartans is a 300 ripoff.
Yes.
Yeah. And this one goes very weird with the references. It does have a lot of different movie references, but it also has like YouTube references.
Yeah.
It's got like the Leave Britney Alone guy in it. Who was right all along and we should have known. It's got Happy Feet, I think, in it. It's got, You got Happy Feet. What else?
I'm trying to think. The references are kind of
In and Out. Yeah.
But this one has a lot of dancing.
This one has at least like 2 dance sequences to the same song. Like they just do the song twice.
The dance sequences are so good though.
Are they? You enjoy them?
Yeah, because so they march off to go fight King Xerxes.
Mm-hmm.
and they meet up with like his like army, and they're like, all right, let's fight, and then they just start dancing.
Right,
And
it's a dance
funny,
off.
and they beat him in the dance off. It's a good one.
Okay, not sure.
It's a good one.
I just want to. I would love to actually read these screenplays. I should look up to see if they're real, because just like
would
I'm
be
seriously just imagining a line in a page where it just says, "Then they dance for 5 minutes," and it's just like, okay, like I would not be surprised if these scripts end up being like 20 pages long.
Yeah.
But Meet the Spartans, the main actor, actually really good, at least as like a Leonidas impersonator.
Yeah.
You know, actually does a really good job, I think.
Yeah, pretty good.
He's pretty good. The rest of the cast, I don't know. They're not bad. They're not as bad as Disaster Movie or anything else. So that's another point to it, you know. I guess most of the things I said about Epic Movie would also apply to Meet the Spartans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The final actual fight is pretty good. There's a part where Rocky Balboa shows up, and he's like, all right,
Yeah.
let's fight. And he punches the dude's head off.
Yeah.
And then what does he say to him? Do you remember?
I don't remember. What
He says some ridiculously funny line.
Yeah.
And then he kills Rocky.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, but Meet the Spartans, I guess it's not too bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't suck. You
Yeah.
know?
This one had a 2% tomato meter. This one had a $30 million budget. Oh, that reminds me
Huh.
of the funniest joke in Meet the Spartans.
Okay.
There's a joke where they're like, we have a huge army. And
Oh,
the
yes,
guys
yes.
run off screen and they pull out a big giant blue screen.
Yeah, blue screen, yeah.
And they're like, what's that? And they're like, it's a blue screen. And they're like, what's that for? It's like, we'll digitally insert our army later.
Our army's going to come later, yeah.
Funny little
That's a
joke.
pretty funny joke.
Anyway, $30 million budget. This one made $84 million. Just
Speaking
like
of that,
the other ones.
that kind of surprises me that they didn't go too meta with filmmaking in general with most of the films. You
Yeah.
know? That's really the only one that like explicitly is a filmmaking breaking the fourth wall thing, you know?
Yeah.
I would have expected, because I know there's a joke like that in Scary Movie as well, which they helped write but they didn't direct, where like a character says, "Oh, Bobby, this isn't a movie," and then he's like, "Oh, of course it is. There's the director. There's the," and the camera just turns to see the director and everybody standing there.
Nice.
So I'm surprised that more of that doesn't infect these movies, because I think people
That
would
would
get a
be
kick out of it, you know.
That would be interesting.
But they didn't go to film school, so maybe they don't know.
Who knows?
Though they direct the movies.
You said it doesn't suck, but you know it does suck.
Huh?
Vampires
Sucks.
sucks.
Oh, like that singer, Sucksy Sucks.
Yes.
Okay.
Vampires Suck, the spoof of Twilight
Mm-hmm. The Twilight Saga.
from 2010. It's
Ken Jeong is in
really-
this movie.
Yes, but it's just not funny.
It's not funny.
It's just not funny even once.
Not even he can help it.
Not even one time is it funny, I think.
Wait, hold on. What about when he turns into like a little Pomeranian? You laughed.
Maybe.
You laughed.
Yeah, well, that's different.
So it's got one funny joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not funny.
It really is. It truly is the one that's least funny. Like they do a lot of jokes of like, oh, let's put Tabasco on, you know, before I bite and suck the blood out. I'm gonna put some Tabasco down. It's like, okay, you know, it's like, it's just pretty unimaginative. And most of the time, like, I don't know. I just felt like there's a lot you can do with vampires, and then they do none of it. Unless that's supposed to be meta, be like, oh, our vampires are bad because the Twilight movies are bad. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just felt, again, like a lot of missed opportunity. Like a lot of the comedy didn't match what should have been happening. You know, that's just me. Or a
Yeah.
lot of retracing the same jokes over and over. Like I said, the drinking people's blood, they were all like
Yeah.
treating them like gluttonous, whatever.
The only thing I guess that's like kind of funny is just like the acting in general, because it's almost just like the Twilight movies, so they do a good job.
That
in
is
part.
true. That is true. This movie is actually pretty well rated.
Yes, this one has a 4% tomato meter, which is double any of the other movies.
I think it's because of people who hate the Twilight movies, who are just like, this movie's great because it doesn't like Twilight either. I really think that's what it was, you know?
This one also had a $20 million budget, and this one made $80 million, so big bounce back after Disaster Movie really flopping.
Yeah, so they weren't starving for cash, I guess.
Speaking of starving,
Oh my, what a coincidence.
we have, so interesting here. These 4 movies we just talked about kind of were in quick succession.
Yes.
2006, 2007, 2 in 2008, and then 2010. Then they kind of took a break. But it was well worth it because during
They
this
came back
break,
with 2 movies.
they were,
And one of them was the best movie out of all these.
yes, they came back with an actual masterpiece.
Best night ever.
No, wait.
Oh, wait,
stop,
no.
stop.
The Starving Games.
The Starving Games,
This is what led us from last episode into this one, is the Starving Games.
which is just amazing.
Starving Games, can we get the box office first? The thing.
So this is interesting. Here's the deal. This one has a 0% tomato meter.
What?
Which is unreal. This movie's freaking hilarious, and I love it. The budget, only $4.5 million,
No.
and it only made $3.8 million. They didn't even make their money back on this movie.
What happened? What happened?
I don't know. Did it not get a wide release?
It
I
must,
don't know.
I mean, truly, I didn't even hear about it until like it was on like Netflix or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
So it must have been they need to put money in marketing or something. Maybe it didn't even release in theaters because it doesn't even have a Metacritic score.
No, it's got nothing.
It's unclear what happened to this film, but whatever it is, it was a travesty because this is the best one.
It's crazy that
And
it's only $4.5 million.
It's the best
too.
one, like by far.
It's not even close. This movie is
Yeah,
almost every single joke lands.
it's like twice as good as the best other one, you know.
Yeah.
So, that's why I feel like we have a responsibility to spread the word about the Starving Games.
It's hilarious.
Even if you like the Hunger Games, obviously it's poking fun at it.
I like the Hunger Games.
But we like the Hunger Games and we like the Starving Games too. You know, Starving Games is obviously better than the Hunger Games.
Right.
But you know, they both have their place in the world.
They're hilarious.
Yeah.
It starts off literally. Is the first joke the bread joke?
The bread joke with the blood, maybe, yeah. Well, the first joke might be her name. They're like, can't miss, you know?
Can't miss. Her name is Can't Miss Evershot. She's
Can't miss
hilarious.
Evershot, yeah.
She meets up with Dale. And he's
That's
like, I got some bread. And she's like, no way, is this real? And she goes to bite it, and it's just a rock.
It's just, like, no.
And then her whole mouth is like destroyed.
Yeah,
She's
just
bleeding.
bleeding
She's like,
Spits it out. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of really funny, like, on the nose commentary about what's happening in like the Hunger Games.
Yeah,
like
universe.
there's a lot of funny parts where it's just like, let's go to this giant meeting where we will choose 2 children to go die for the entertainment of millions of rich people.
Exactly, yeah. And obviously, even the advertising and stuff like that all kind of ties into the idea of the commercialism, I suppose. It's very smart. It's a very smart
Hugh
film.
Janus.
It's a huge. Everyone, look behind you for a dingleberry. That one's good.
Good stuff. So, whatever. Her sister gets picked, and then she's like, "Yes, didn't get picked. Woo! Yeah." And then she's like, "But I got picked."
Yeah.
Classic stuff.
Classic stuff.
What's the funniest joke?
The funniest joke? Oh, that's so tough. I don't know.
There's a lot.
There's so many.
There's a lot.
I mean, I always thought the part that never fails to make me laugh is when Cleaver slams the severed head onto the desk while he's commentating.
Yes.
That always makes me
He's
laugh.
like, and this is my color commentator, Cleaver. Cleaver, tell us how you got your name. I killed everyone with a meat cleaver.
Yeah, exactly.
And he pulls the thing up.
Wonderful. Let's get back to it. I always thought
They're great.
the cake
The
joke,
cake joke is hilarious.
that might take it, honestly.
Take the cake.
That might take the cake joke, because she's like, where are you? I can't see you. I've used my baking skills to hide into the environment. So where are you? I'm in the cake.
There's just a giant pink
birthday cake. He's just hiding it. He's got a face through the hole. It's just covered in
Yeah.
icing.
I love the 600,000 calorie triple bypass burger.
Of course,
Great.
that's a class. Cinnamon, cinnamon's
Cinnamon.
great. Your stylist. Yes, Patricia.
Patricia, you're not the girl from District 3.
It's good. This is another one where I think the cast is great. The actors all do a
yes.
great job. Great,
Absolutely.
chemistry and stuff between them. It's also not too gross. It's not too sexual.
Nope.
Which puts me off of these movies for some reason. It just feels weird.
They are weird.
The most sexual joke is like when the Hobbit want to rub their feet. They're like oiling them up and they're like, whatever. And the grossest one is probably when the dead little girl has maggots crawling out of her mouth. But that's not that. It sounds gross. It's not that gross.
Yeah, come on.
It's just maggots.
It's not that big of a deal.
And Taylor Swift singing about it. Taylor Swift really helps.
Right, yeah, Taylor Swift shows up.
Take the edge off of it,
She's like, I don't want you to sing for me.
Yeah.
I want her to sing for me.
That's good. Yeah, they're all great. The Snow.
President Snowballs.
President Snowballs. Yeah, President Snowballs. He's a funny guy.
He is a funny guy.
I like him.
Just watch it.
Just watch it.
We don't want to spoil all the jokes.
You gotta get into it.
Just watch the Starving Games. It's unbelievably hilarious.
It's pretty funny. Yeah.
What's not funny though?
Wait, hold on. But also the end is good too, because when the
With the
Avengers show
Avengers?
up,
Yeah.
I always appreciate the Avengers showing up.
I practically show up at the end of every movie.
Let's go get some shawarma. Wait, no, don't. Everybody explodes.
Classic.
Perfect ending.
Starving Games.
That's the Starving Games in a nutshell.
Also, the end where they change the rules back to where only one
there can
person
only be
can
one.
and he's like, okay, I have these berries, let's kill ourselves. And she's like, yeah, and she just kills him.
Kills him. Nothing personal. Strictly business.
Strictly business. Funny stuff.
It's great.
Anyway, it's not great.
Really? Because I think it's... Okay, if the Starving Games is the best, then what else is the best? This Night Ever?
Stop it.
No, is the answer.
I will make no jokes about this movie. They made another movie called Best Night Ever. It has a 0% tomato meter good. The budget just doesn't exist.
Unknown.
I don't know. Maybe there just was no budget.
I don't think there was a budget because it's like handy cam stuff.
Maybe they just went and did this.
There's people's faces that are just blurred out. There's signs and stuff that's just blurred out. It's like they just went to Vegas with a camera and was just like, shoot it, let's go.
And it made $289,511.
You said 289, and I was like, what the fuck? But 1,000, that makes a lot more sense.
So not a lot.
Not much at all. But assuming their budget was like $5,000.
Yeah,
we don't know.
For them. This movie is absolutely terrible.
It's not the best.
It's not funny one time.
Here's the thing. It's not really a spoof movie.
No, it's not. It's just a movie.
It's just like a normal movie. It's like a ripoff of The Hangover. It's like The Hangover but girls. And it's not The Hangover. It's The Night.
Yeah. Actually, there's one funny part in this movie.
Okay, what is it?
There's a part
where
they're
dumpster?
all in the dumpster.
Yes.
And they're like in the dumpster and they're singing a song or whatever.
What's weird about this thing is because I was criticizing that scene when I was watching it. Because I was like, this is going on way too long.
It's forever.
They should have got to the song a lot quicker. But then the punchline is there was a hobo sleeping in there with them the whole time.
And he starts singing.
And he starts singing too. And I was thinking to myself, was that joke made funnier because that scene was so obscenely long? Or would it have been just as funny if it was like a well-paced moment? And I couldn't come to a conclusion. But I did laugh. I did laugh at that part. It was the one part that I laughed.
The rest, atrocious. Gross. This is the grossest movie by far. There is dicks. There is boobs. Gross boobs.
Yeah.
Not even boobs that you like.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene where they're like completely naked for 10 minutes and they're like fighting.
Yeah.
In the hotel.
They're chasing him down and fighting nude. Yeah. There's a part where she just coughs up blood all over herself and she's just standing there like in her underwear and just covered in blood.
There's a part where she pisses and shits on a dude's face.
Yeah. Yeah, that does happen.
Real thing.
Really, it happened really quickly. I thought they were gonna like generally get there because they have a part at the beginning where it's like the black censor bar over the big black dick. And I was like, okay, but then like one of the first scenes, a guy just pulls his balls out. And it's just like, look, it's his balls.
Yeah, and
it's like
ball sack.
Public. It's the public.
Yeah, they're just on the road.
And I was like, weird movie, okay. Yeah, a lot more dick and balls than Boobo in this film.
Terrible, atrocious movie. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's
no,
terrible.
we got to talk about it.
No.
We got to talk about it. So it's the best night ever. It's Leslie Bowman and Claire something, and it's a bunch of women. And it's like, oh, Claire's getting married to Dave, and this is her bachelorette party. And so first it's like, oh, we have this rich suite, whatever. The sister's credit card gets declined. Because there was another thing that I thought was good in this movie. That wasn't a comedy thing. She's like, oh, my husband's gay, so we're getting divorced, and he canceled all my credit cards. It's
Okay.
like, okay. And so that's why they're having this crazy night, because they're just trying to live off what they have and still have a good time. They get mugged super early, and it's like really dark, actually, that this guy just comes up with a gun. He's like, give me the purse, and just shoves the gun. Like, I was like, this isn't funny. This is just like, this is not good. I don't know. There's just a way they framed it where I was like, I'm just afraid for them. I should be like, oh, haha. I thought it was going to be a stripper for the longest time. You know, like he'd pretend mug them, and then he'd start stripping too or whatever. Be like, okay, but nope, he just mugs them and takes all their stuff, including her wedding ring.
Yeah.
Whatever. So then they go to bars, they get drunk, they meet guys, they kind of talk. They shit and piss on his face. And also, it's not the robber's face. It's some guy.
Yeah, it's just a random dude.
Just a random guy they abduct and rob.
They think is the robber.
And you know what else? When I was watching that, I was like, this could be a different movie that is funnier, I think. Where it's just vigilante people trying to get justice, and they don't really know what they're doing, and they're bumbling around, you know, but they do it. Kind of like a Horrible Bosses type of movie. Mm-hmm. I was like, there's something here that could have been a good movie, but it's just awful. There's gelatin wrestling as well.
Yeah, very cool.
And at the end, the sister... Well, okay, we'll get to the end for a second. But there's a part where the sister's like, hey, I'm sorry we couldn't find your ring. I'm getting divorced, so here, have mine. And that sister's been generally uptight and a party pooper. So this was like, I was like, actually, this is a nice moment. That the sister's like, yeah, here you go, little sister. Here's my ring. I'm so happy for you, even though my own marriage is a lie and it has been for 7 years. I was like, oh, that's actually, like, sweet.
Very nice.
You know, I was like, weird, because the rest of this movie has been so awful to watch. I talked about funny games on a previous episode. And I said that Funny Games they did something really cruel in that movie. This movie is more cruel than Funny Games. Funny Games, people are being tormented by murderers, and then she finally shoots him, and then it rewinds, and he's like, oh, you're not going to shoot me. Sorry about that. And I was like, wow, that hurts. This movie, they wake up from the night, they're all done being hungover, and like, that sucks. Let's watch the tape. And then it rewinds to the worst part of the movie where they're being attacked by naked people, and another like 7 minutes of that plays out when you thought it was done. And it was the movie attacking me. I literally exclaimed. I was like, no, we're done with that. They went back. Why did they go back to that scene? I was like, I'm so glad the movie's over.
Because it was really funny.
Psych. Here's the big fat black lady punching them to death and breaking the car window with her bare hands. Anyway. The one saving grace of this film was the after credit scene, of course.
There was after credit scene?
There was.
Oh, really?
It was not a saving grace. It was the dumbest thing ever. Literally, it's them ordering food. And the one lady's like, I want a burger. And then the stuck-up sister is like, oh, can I have a salad? We don't have... Can you wrap the burger in lettuce? Okay. Okay, can I have the buns on the side? And it just goes on for like 2 minutes.
That sounds stupid. I'm glad I stopped the movie.
It's really dumb, but I had to check because some of them did have after credit scene. Epic Movie had like 30 after credit scenes. But yeah, best night ever.
Terrible.
One
atrocious
good joke and one okay moment. But you have to watch the movie to appreciate that moment, so bad.
Literally like one of the worst movies ever. Very bad. Okay. Super Fast, one more. Their latest movie. 2015, they made Super Fast a spoof of Fast and Furious, and it is just not great.
Yeah, it's another one. It just felt like they focus on Fast and Furious, and it doesn't delve into any other movies. It's all Fast and Furious, which, in all honesty, there's enough to do that, I think.
But they didn't.
Yeah. They had... Like, I felt like each character had one funny moment.
Yeah.
Like
there are a couple funny parts.
The Rock impersonator had his baby oil stuff. That was funny.
He's the best part of the movie.
I still wish he would have eaten it. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
If he was just, you know? That would have been great. There's a part with Vin Diesel talking about his dad's car, which was really funny. Because his skeleton's still in the
Right,
car. It's
yeah.
like the world's greatest dad.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, this is me when we were younger. And it's just literally his face imposed on a child. It's very, very funny. And also they're identical. It's his face imposed onto his dad and himself as a kid. I like that part. It takes a while to get going. I didn't like the main character, the Paul Walker guy. I didn't like him too much. So yeah, it just takes a while to get started. There's actual like racing parts, but they're really dumb.
Yeah.
They're just like people kind of slowly walking or driving down like the same road for most of the movie. It's like a lot. They go up and down and up and down and up and down.
Yeah.
That's funny from a different perspective. And there was a saving grace in the antagonist was also pretty funny. Him and his first little lackey.
Yeah.
They
were
had
funny.
some good bits as well. They talk about Despicable Me, but they just talk about it. It's not
Right.
like a whatever. And what's funny is his main lackey was actually in Fast and the Furious as just like a gangster.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's so funny for that guy.
Funny.
But Super Fast,
Not great.
not great. But
So,
what numbers? did
Here's
they
the
do?
deal. No, the tomato meter, non-existent. They didn't even feel like rating this one. Same with the Metacritic.
Yeah.
But the budget, they went back up at $20 million.
How? That's the most baffling. How is this a $20 million movie?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Unless
look
they
like it.
bought the cars that they used in it.
Yeah, the cars maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, this one only made $2 million. So they really dropped the ball on
That's
this one.
rough.
Very rough.
Hey, but now it's made $2,008,000 or however much we paid for it. $2,004.
Yeah. No, wait. I think that one was free on Prime.
Well, they get a little something out of it, right? Yeah, Super Fast, not
Not good.
their best, not their worst. Not-
Yeah, but not the best.
this one just suffers from being a bit boring.
Yeah.
It's not unfunny; it's just boring.
Yeah.
You know, because Best Night Ever is just like it's jokes and you roll your eyes and you're like, I hate this.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's the worst thing ever.
Yeah. Then there's some weird stuff that I dug up about this.
Okay.
They had another movie in the works that never came out called Who the Fuck Took My Daughter?
Okay.
And I can't find out. It's not on IMDb anymore, so it must have been completely canceled. But they had it planned, and it was supposed to come out in like 2017, I think.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, and then in 2017, there were articles coming out that they're working on their next movie called Star Worlds Episode XXXIVE = MC². The Force Awakens: The Last Jedi Who Went Rogue.
Very
And
funny.
That's on IMDb, and the plot description is just a Star Wars spoof movie where the directors don't even know what the word parody means.
That just sounds really great, and I'm all for
That
this
sounds really
one.
funny. But this is what bothers me, what kind of worries me, because I want to see that Star Worlds movie. I want to see it.
Yeah, me too. I will be at the theater.
But Who the Fuck Took My Daughter did not get released, and it got like excised totally from time.
We need to start
And
the movement.
Star Worlds was supposed to come out in 2017, or film in 2017. So that was 4 years ago.
Interesting.
That makes me worried that maybe these two
Maybe they're just really working on the
are
effects.
done. I don't know. I honestly, okay, I don't want them to make movies, but I want them to make one more. They can make Star Worlds and then stop. But I'd honestly be a little disappointed if I never got to see their take on the Star Wars
Yes.
fantasy, especially assuming that this is sequel trilogy based.
Yeah.
You know, because I would love to poke fun at the sequel trilogy. I do.
Yes.
So I'd be on this movie's side, you know. Guys, let's start a movement.
Yes. Save.
Save
Or-
Star Worlds.
Hashtag the Star Worlds cut. The Freezer cut.
Well, it's not a cut though. It's just the
Hashtag
movie.
Freezer cut.
But it's just the movie. It's not.
Hashtag Friezerverse.
Hashtag Friezerverse. Sure.
Get it trending. We need Star Worlds to come out.
We'll get hashtag Friezerverse trending, and we can. It's funny when you Google them, they have Twitters attached to their things, but they're parody accounts made by people who don't like them.
Oh.
But it's like listed as their official Twitter. So I was reading them and I was like, "What the fuck, really?" I was like, "No, they're parody accounts."
That's funny.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to be a guy who writes parodies and have parody accounts of yourself. It's getting in there deep. But that means we got some reviews of the week.
The reviews of the week, man. The weeks, they're in review. and we're reviewing them with the weeks, man.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of go down the list here. These are all 5-star ratings.
5-star. Okay.
5 stars. Masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck not? Fuck it. 5 stars.
Okay.
12-year-old me, favorite film. This movie is so funny and brings back so many memories. I'm not sure why it has such bad ratings. I feel like people are taking it too seriously. I will not be taking questions. It's good if you don't take it seriously. Not me crying all night rewatching this. Cinematic masterpiece. You wish you were as funny as this film.
Nice.
I think this is the best movie.
Is this all the same movie?
Masterpiece. Yep, all for the same movie.
Okay.
Peak comedy. Chef's Kiss. This. That'll be the last one I say.
Starving Games?
Yep.
Nice.
There's a lot of people that agree with us out there. There's a community
I'm glad
of
there's
people.
a community of Starving Games lovers.
Yep.
Okay, well, I have another one.
Okay.
Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer must be stopped. For the last 2 years, this filmmaking team has created a series of spoof movies so feeble, shoddy, and unfunny that they may be part of a diabolical Manchurian Candidate-like plot to stunt the intellectual development of American adolescents. That's funny.
That's
funny
gotta
stuff.
be best night ever.
I want to say that was Meet the Spartans.
Oh, dang.
So they weren't into the YouTube, because I think it was a lot of the internet stuff that was coming through that they're like, oh, this is like kids like attention span.
Yeah.
Things. But there's also a part of their Wikipedia page, if you just scroll down, that is literally just like people who hate them.
Criticism.
And Josh Levin of Slate stated, "Isn't it massive consumer fraud to charge $10.50 for a barely hour-long movie? Perhaps, but it would have been forgivable to make Meet the Spartans. It would have been unforgivable to make Meet the Spartans any longer than an hour. This was the worst movie I've ever seen, so bad that I hesitate to label it a movie, and thus reflect shame upon the entire medium of film.
Wow.
They do not practice the same craft as P.T. Anderson, David Cronenberg, Michael Bay, Uwe
Michael
Boll,
Bay.
any dad who takes shaky home movies on a camping trip, or a bear who turns on a video camera by accident while trying to eat it.
Wow.
They are not filmmakers. They are evildoers, charlatans, symbols of Western civilization's decline under the weight of too many pop culture references."
Learn to have some fun. That's all I have to say.
And then critic Nathan Rabin also gave their work an indignant condemnation, calling them comedy antichrists.
Wow.
And saying, but he has a good point here that I actually really enjoyed, because I
Okay.
agree with it completely. He says that spoof movies, a lot of good ones, come from a place of love for the genre. You love the genre, so you nitpick it and you pick it apart and like look at these silly things that are kind of tropes of this genre, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But these movies all feel like they come from a place of contempt, and they're like, look how stupid this is, and look how you should hate it, and stuff like that.
No.
I disagree with you completely. I feel like all of these come from a place of, these things are bad, look at how bad they are.
These guys aren't that smart.
When it's like, that's exactly the point. They'd have to be smart to be like, oh, look at this thing we like, here's what's silly about it. They're like, no, Twilight sucks, ha ha ha.
I think
here's
it's
a movie.
neither.
Okay, what do you think it is then?
They're just like, this movie we can make funny.
Because they're making fun of it. That's the point. It's the lowest. It's a lot
I
lower than
guess.
Hot Fuzz, where it's like, oh, we love these, procedural crime thrillers. Here's some funny, cliches of it, and
Yeah,
we'll twist
okay.
them and have fun with it. Where
Okay.
these are all just like, oh, ha, X-Men's kind of silly. He has wings, and that's his superpower. Ha ha. Oh,
Yeah.
Harry Potter, it's going on too long, so they're old. Ha ha ha. I really agree that it feels like it comes from a place of making fun of instead of appreciating and deconstructing.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
And that's what separates it from funny spoof movies to this
Except for
quality.
Starving Games.
Except for Starving Games. Starving Games is really good, but they don't poke too much fun at Starving Games. You know what I mean?
It's because they love it.
Exactly. So it transcends the line, I think, and that's why it's twice as good as the rest.
5 times.
Well, right, at least it's twice as good, at the very least for the best one.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with that point. I wanted to bring it up because I thought it was kind of insightful in that way. Anyway, we have an email.
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 Did you know? That you can email us at the Stagler Pod at gmail.com. Whoop whoop.
Okay,
whoop,
we
whoop.
have an email coming in that says, "Hey guys, you two recently talking about your experiences watching the MCU movies got me curious. What are the best and worst theater experiences you ever had, be it a bad movie or unruly people in the crowd? For me, it was Transformers 4. Never watched another Michael Bay movie after that.
That's very funny.
I don't know if we talked about this before, but I definitely had bad experience when I saw Hereditary. Yeah. Because someone brought a baby.
An infant child.
An infant. And so I remember thinking it was really stupid because I thought I was so interested in what the movie was doing when I heard the baby crying. I was like, what does the director mean by this?
Yeah.
And then it was just an actual baby.
Just the baby.
In my mind, I was saying, there's no way someone brought a baby to an R-rated horror movie. So this is part of the movie. And what is it?
Yeah.
Seriously, though, I recommend it. I thought it was great at the time, and I still think it's cool.
Yeah.
If I could, I would rewrite my Hereditary Blu-ray to put in a baby
Baby
noise
crying
right in
during
there.
that part.
But yeah, that was bad. And the whole crowd was unruly. They were teenagers just being teenagers and being like, oh, we're canceling this cult. Cancel them.
Oh, they were so annoying.
Yeah.
Movie canceled.
They killed the dog. Canceled.
So annoying.
Bad.
That was really bad. Other bad ones. I don't really know if I have any really terrible ones.
I mean,
have
I've seen
ones.
bad movies at the theater.
Yeah.
So that
Everyone
that
has.
counts. I could talk about one that was good and for a reason I didn't expect.
Okay.
I saw the Manchester by the Sea in the theater. I tried to get people to go with me, but nobody could make it, so I went alone. And the theater I was in had like maybe 7 people in it max, and this is like a full, like 300 people sit in this theater. And I was sitting alone. I was like 4th row from the front or something, and it was a weirdly great movie to watch, not alone but with like 5 other people.
Yeah.
Because it was just such a depressing movie that you felt kind of isolated, and it was like it was just a good experience. And it was weird because when I walked out of it, one of the 6 other people in the theater was like a teacher from high school while I was still in high school. I was like, oh, hey, what's up? And he's like, that movie was fucking rough, wasn't it? I was like, yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That reminds me of 2 things.
Okay.
One thing, the first time I ever went to a movie theater by myself was when I saw Blade Runner 2049.
Okay.
Which was awesome.
Sure, yeah.
That was just a very special moment for me as a person. But I just was reminded of another, maybe one of the greatest experiences that we have ever shared together in a movie theater, and that is when 15 years ago, no, okay, not that long, 10 years ago, we saw Dolphin Tale.
Oh, Dolphin Tale.
In the movie theater.
Life-changing.
With my mom and our grandma.
Yeah.
And we were like, we want to go to the front row.
Mm-hmm.
So we went all the way to the front row. And we watched.
Of the giant theater, yeah.
Yep. And we watched Dolphin Tale when we were like 12.
Yep.
And it was a transcendent experience. That's all I have to say.
The front row just changes your perspective on film. It does. I don't
Really
think enough
does.
people talk about this. Because everyone's like, oh, the front row sucks. No. It's just different.
Yeah, the front row is special.
The front row is like a special place. That's why we saw the newest Star Wars in the
That
front
was a
row
good
as
one
well.
too.
That was
that
great.
movie, terrible. But
In
we
the
had a
front
really
row,
fun time in the front row.
A lot more
on the
fun.
premiere. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So stuff like that. That's a good one. Puss in Boots, another one we saw in the front row.
Yes, that was
Also great. I remember the sweeping landscapes. I was like, oh, I'm really there. Humpty Dumpty is really going to get me.
The front row, very special place.
It is.
Yeah.
Another place, I'm pretty sure we talked about it, but was the Turning was a very good experience when it ended.
Yeah,
and
right.
Everybody in the theater was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, and everyone was just looking at each other.
It just
That was funny.
agreed. It was just, everyone was thinking the same thing. Another one, I guess, was Midsummer, just like Hereditary. It was a good one, though, because there was a scene near the end where it was a really nice tension breaker where the guy's having some sort of ceremonial sex with, like, the virgin of the village, and an old woman comes and just starts pushing his ass.
Right, yeah.
And the whole theater just, like, erupted in laughter.
Everyone started laughing.
Because it was such, like, a kind of tense moment that it was just a funny image that kind of broke the tension and made it easier to watch the rest of the film. I thought that was great, yeah.
That was a good moment. So, yeah. Oh, when I saw The Revenant for the first time, I remember my sister got me out of school early.
Oh?
So it was already, like, cool. Like, yeah, I'm leaving school early.
Yeah.
Left school, went to the Revenant Theater, the XD Theater. Full, not one person in the theater was under 50.
Oh, okay.
And then me and my sister walk in, like a 15-year-old and an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
and we just walk into the theater and we sit down with all these old people and we watch The Revenant, an extremely gruesome movie.
Nice.
And it was freaking awesome.
Nice. We had the opposite thing with Frozen 2 because we went on a snow day.
Oh, Frozen 2 is that was a bad experience.
And there were parents obviously, but it was like half parents. No, it was like half just like 4-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like slightly older kids and then just like a few parents.
And then us.
And we're just like,
This is weird.
We're too young to have kids, but too old to see
Yeah.
Frozen 2.
I also saw the Emoji Movie. That was something.
Oh my gosh. I saw that on Pornhub because there's an illegal rip of it. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll watch the Emoji Movie on Pornhub right now. It made the experience better, I think, because the comments were funny. They're just like, man.
The Emoji Movie, really great stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
That's good. I think that was good. So, guys, that leaves us to our goodbyes and our next spotlight. I could say that I had a good time. I think this episode went pretty fast. I could say that most of these movies, made us pretty furious.
Yeah, dude.
And we talked about super fast. Guys, oh my gosh. I mean, take it away.
It's finally happening. My personal favorite movie franchise of all time, the Fast and Furious franchise. We will be speaking about every single one of the movies, including Hobbs and Shaw, also including the very new one, Fast 9, which comes out very soon. We will be seeing that in the theater.
There's only going to be 11 of them, and we weren't going to wait that long to do this episode. So we'll talk about the new ones. We'll see them probably the premiere days, the ones after this one, and we'll talk about it, and we'll talk about it in a whole with the franchise. We'll just keep it going, So when those new movies come out, maybe you'll go back to the next episode and listen so you can get them all in one. I don't know.
Fast and Furious, baby. It's all about family.
Family.
The next episode will be about family.
Family. Yeah. Vin Diesel.
Go, Vin
And-
Diesel.
Go, Vin Diesel, go. Nice.
It was a dud.
It was a dud. But guys, thank you so much for joining us on this most joyous of days. Because now, except for the Starving Games, I never have to watch any of these movies ever again.
That was wonderful.
That feels nice to have
That's a
that under my
great
belt
thing.
and not have it looming over me.
It is a great
like
thing.
best night ever is out there. Not anymore.
Yup.
I killed it.
Me too.
So I hope you enjoyed the episode. Maybe, hey, if you want, check out the movies yourself. Don't let us say what's good or what's not.
Yeah.
Check, especially Starving Games.
Starving Games, got to watch it. Must see.
So just tell us what you think of them if you watch them. If you think spoof movies are fun and they're worth it, or you think they shouldn't even exist, I'd be interested in hearing what you have to say. But until next time,
Gucci.
we already did that. That was like our second episode.
Oh.
Why did you? We did talk about book.
Live long and prosper.
May the force be with you. May the 4th be with you.
May the June the 12th be with you.
May the June the 12th live long and prosper.
With
Okay,
you.
Bye.
forever.